Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'd like to call to order the presentation ceremony Wednesday, April 18. It's approximately 5:05 p.m. Our first presentation is Officer Christopher Wilson, Officer of the Month for March. Captain, Chief?
Good evening. I'm Captain Raymond DeJean, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, City staff. Welcome. I'm Captain Raymond DeJean. This is Chief Alexander E. Roll Jr., Colonel Scott Kennedy, Captain Edie Sermon, Captain Angela Washington, Major Tony Sincor. This is Sergeant Michael Acosta and Sergeant Carlos Garcia. We're here today to present Officer of the Month for the month of March 2018 to Officer Chris Wilson. Before we get started on what he actually did, let me tell you a little bit about Officer Wilson. He came to us from Florida City Police Department as an experienced officer. He was really wanting to get with Homestead, and we brought him on board. He was 7 years with Florida City, and he came to us starting off as a reserve officer, left a full-time job to become a reserve officer. He started in May of 2016 and became a full-time officer with us in January of 2017. So with that being said, he's done some great things since he's been here, and this is just going to highlight one of them. In March 4th of 2018, he was on patrol, midnight shift, where he observed an individual brandish a gun, approach a female in a car, and start waving it around. The subject subsequently fled and jumped into a car. Officer Wilson began to follow him, calling for backup. When they tried to conduct a felony stop, a short vehicle pursuit ensued. The subject crashed into a utility pole and then fled on foot. They began to canvass the area and located the subject. Officer Wilson located the subject hiding inside of a vehicle lying on the floorboard. So we broke into another vehicle just to hide from the officers. He was taken into custody without further incident. During the month of March, Officer Wilson also, he did 103 business checks, wrote 32 reports, made 25 arrests, and wrote 26 FI cards. Some of those arrests were for narcotics arrests, warrants, lording and prowling, and numerous traffic-related arrests. Again, good job, Officer Wilson. You are Officer of the Month for March 2018.
I also like to add, we pretty much missed this one because back in the beginning of this year, January, I believe it was in January, we had a 17-year-old kid that was killed here in the city of Homestead over by Blakely Park. And we didn't have no idea who the subject was that committed the homicide. Officer Wilson, again, find out well, first of all, he went over and found out who the subject was and identified him and brought him back to Homestead PD, and we was able to make an arrest of that subject who committed the first homicide here in the city of Homestead, the first part of this year. So just to kind of tell you what kind of police officers is, this guy's unbelievable. And that was overlooked. That was our mistake, but I wanted you all to know that because that's the kind of people that we hire here. We want good, experienced police officers that are going to take care of business in the city of Homestead when you're dealing with crime. That's what we do. On the other hand, our job is to assist the citizens of Homestead in a professional manner and assist them whenever we can with anything that they need here in the city of Homestead. That's what Homestead PD is all about. So again, Officer Wilson, thank you for a good job and keep up the good works. And his two supervisors. Lieutenant Tradd is not here, but you have his two supervisors here that pretty much wrote the letter for us, for him for Officer of the Month. So I want to thank you guys too, because, you know, again, without them, it wouldn't be no you, and without you all, it wouldn't be no me. So thank you all, really appreciate it, and keep up the good works.
Thank you, Chief. On behalf of the mayor and the council, I'd like to present this certificate of recognition. And basically, it reads, presented to Officer Christopher Wilson, Homestead Police Department. With gratitude, we thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. The City of Homestead salutes you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Last but not least, I don't want to put this guy on the spot, but I'm sorry. He was taking his beauty shot. Anything you'd like to say, Officer?
Good afternoon. I'd just like to thank Chief Rowe and the command staff for bringing me over. It's been a long time coming. I'm finally here and I'm loving it. I want to thank my supervisors, Sergeant Garcia and Sergeant Acosta, and Lieutenant Tradd, who also isn't here. And also my midnight shift. I wish they were all here. It was all a team effort. We all work together and we're one. So if I could bring them all up here, they'll be here, but they're probably sleeping. So, you know, thank you.
And thank you. That concludes the Officer of the Month presentation.
Thank you, Chief. Another example of awesome job you do every day. Thank you. The next presentation is Vice Mayor Shelley.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have the honor of introducing the Artist in the Spotlight for the month of April and May, which will display his work at the Seminole Theater in downtown Homestead. You know, the purpose of the Artist in the Spotlight program is to give local artists the ability to display their work and kind of get recognition. It's hard as an artist to sometimes get your word out there and get your work out there and let people see you and know what you do. And so I welcome him to the chambers as well to talk a little bit about his work. And so this is Ricardo Arnaldo. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit about your work and if you have any upcoming exhibits or if you have a art night or an opening welcome reception. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. That was a hard act to follow, the police here. I want to thank the Vice Mayor and Michelle for coordinating this whole thing. Michelle has had to put up with a lot of my phone calls and emails, probably drove her nuts. And she's done a wonderful job, and I'm really impressed by your new digs. It's just amazing. It's a lot more than I expected, so congratulations. Anyway, my name is Ricardo. My website is redlandphoto.com, redlandphoto. And I am the Artist on the Spotlight. Thank you to Vice Mayor. And I'll be in the Seminole presenting a lot of my pictures starting Monday. I'd like to see a lot of you guys there. I live in Redland. I've been there for 17 years, which I know is a very short time here in Homestead. Some of you have been here all your life. And I'm living in 5 acres of natural forest community. In other words, pine trees and palmettos. And Hurricane Andrew did a job on it, knocked down all the trees. It looked more like Berlin after the war. And we restored it with a lot of poison ivy and poison oak and many other things. So anyway, I've done a lot of my photographs there. I do nature photography, landscaping, flowers, just about anything. I don't like to use studios. I've done modeling, but prefer not to use studios. My favorite landscapes, a lot of them I sell or I lease out on agencies, 2 in Europe, 2 in the United States, and they use them in brochures and books, calendars, stuff like that. But my real love for photography is, by the way, I've been taking photography since the 20th century, so I know that sounds real dated now, but that was just yesterday. My love is mostly the art of it, which is a lot harder to do than, you know, illustration work. And I'll make it kind of short because I know you all want to go on to the next thing. Basically, now that I'm a little older on this, I'm going more for not so much what you actually see in a photograph or what you actually can imagine or get out of the photograph. Sort of a communication. I call it ethereal, mysterious, romantic, whatever is that hits the eye of the person that's seeing them. This was taken in my own backyard, and it shows some of that. There's a mist. The light is, you can actually touch the air because of the mist on it, and then there's a very strong light. Sunrise is my favorite time, or close to sunrise. The lights are very dramatic, and this is what I kind of like to do, and now I'm expanding into that kind of stuff, which is a photograph, but it looks more like a watercolor or painting. A lot of people look at my stuff and say, is that a photograph or a painting? So I like that. I like to interact, make another sort of another reality on the pictures. And I'd like to see you all in the Seminole. Monday night, free drinks. Well, not drinks, free wine. And you'll be there. And I'll be there too. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much. And did you announce you're having an opening night or reception night? Did you?
Reception night is
Monday
Monday at 5:30.
at 5:30. This coming up Monday at 5:30 is your opening artist reception at the Seminole Theater. Perfect. I encourage everybody to come out and get to know the artist and see some more of his work. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Our next presentation is Councilwoman Fairclough. She's got a sponsor for the Mayor's Youth Council.
Hello? There we go. Like I was saying, thank you, Mayor, Council, and City staff. My name is Maximo Valdez, and I'm the newly elected mayor of the Mayor's Youth Council for the 2018 to 2019 school year. Along with my fellow council members this year over the spring break, I was given the amazing opportunity of traveling to the cities of San Jose and San Francisco in California. Over these 4 days, we toured different social media headquarters. We visited the San Jose and San Francisco Youth Commission and went to different historical locations like the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz. Not only was this an extremely eye-opening trip, but an empowering trip. As a council, we have not only learned the power of our voices, but the power behind our actions and influence we, as the youth of today and the future of tomorrow, have on our society and the importance it's going to have for ourselves and for our posterity. At this time, I'd like to graciously thank our wonderful committee liaison, Councilwoman Patricia Fairclough, for making this trip possible. Through her leadership, knowledge, and guidance, she's constantly challenging us and has sat in this position for the last 5 years and has truly impacted the lives of the youth in Homestead. I'd also like to thank our generous sponsors for making this trip possible and allowing us to carry Homestead's legacy thousands of miles away. So if we could begin by handing out the awards, please. Yeah, go ahead. So the first one is for Mayor Jeff Porter. Next is for Vice Mayor Stephen Shelley. Councilwoman Jennifer Bailey. Councilman John Burgess. Councilman Larry Roth, and this is for the kids. Councilman Elvis Maldonado. Airboats in Everglades. Center State Bank. And Life Point Church through Buy a Tree, Change a Life. Someone could get this award. Here. Can you hold this? We'd also like to go ahead and take this opportunity to thank our awesome chaperones that went on this trip, which was Flora Swaga, Anna Chirinos, Laura Galvin, and Selena Meeks. And thank you for everything.
If I may, if you can just please join me in acknowledging the Mayor's Youth Council with the rounds of applause. These students planned this trip from beginning to the end by themselves. I've charged them with fundraising for this trip because of where they attended. It was very costly. So they raised all the funds for this trip. My hands was nowhere in this. Honestly, I didn't think they could pull it off, but they did. And I'd like to also give a debt of gratitude to the former mayor of the Youth Council, Anthony Garcia. He really, really led this group into a high fundraising effort. This is the most amount of money they have raised since I have been the liaison for the Youth Council. So I thank you so much for stepping up to the plate and making this possible. And to our sponsors, this could not have happened without all of you. So thank you so much for investing in these students so that they can go on and learn and obtain authentic learning experiences by traveling each year to different places. I haven't told them where they're going next year, so I don't want to give out the secret yet. So I know they'll be reaching out to you again to help fund their trip. So thank you so much for all of your support.
Next presentation is Councilman Roth for the Homestead Police Explorer Champions. Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. Wow. We go from the Mayor's Youth Council to the Homestead Explorers. It just goes to show you that we have so much young talent in our community that they strive to do excellent things. I remember when they first came to me, the Mayor's Youth Council, to plan their trip to where'd you guys go? California. That's a long way from Homestead. And there was a lot of money that had to be raised for that trip, too. And they did it with a lot of help from the community and the support of the community. But anyways, I'm here to recognize our Homestead Police Explorers. Selena, I need your help. it went off. And these young men and women went off and were involved in a Police Explorer challenge, I guess it would be called. They went out and competed against 22 other Police Explorer agencies from, I guess, across the country. Under the leadership of Officer Wadley. Come on up, guys. Just bring you all up. This is very informal. I'll make your introductions here in a minute. Officer Wadley. As you can see, they're carrying their awards already. And there's many of them. So proud of these young fellas, these boys and girls, young adults. Now, as a team, they competed, as I said, against 22 other organizations. And in 3 of the categories, they actually took home first place in 3 categories against 22 other organizations. First place award for domestic violence scenario. And that team was Chris Leon, Elise Menendez, Nicole Pantelli, and Isaac Rivera. Where are you guys at? Step forward. And as I said, Homestead has so much talent, and it's leaders like Ms. Watley, the rest of the Explorer group that help teach these kids and keep them on the right path. So congratulations on your first place award. We have some certificates we're going to give to you in a few minutes. The next group was first place in crime scene processing. They actually were able to process, I guess, a crime scene scenario. We won't go into the details. It's probably pretty graphic right now. Let's see, that was first place. That was Nicole, again, Nicole Pontrelli. Forgive me for the names. Iris Bonea, Chris Leon, and Elise Menendez again. Congratulations, first place in crime scene processing scenario. And then we've got the next group. That's amazing, there's a bunch of them here. Another first place, and again, this is against 22 other teams. I mean, that's incredible that they're able to compete at such a high level. I shouldn't say it's incredible. It makes us all very proud of each and every one of you. And this was crime intervention scenario. And that team consisted of Sharif Alai, Elise Menendez, Nicole Pontrelli, and Isaac Rivera. Just amazing accomplishments. They also finished 5th place in search and arrest scenario, and 3rd place, is this right? In Explorers Got Talent. What was your talent?
Come on up. This is the narrator. So they did a skit along with Alicia Wiggins. You want to tell them about the skit, Pontrelli, that y'all came up with? It's basically a skit just to show each youth that's here their talent. So we decided the day that we was up there for 2 days to put together this skit, and pretty much Pontrelli can explain how that skit went.
Well, it was just a day in the life of an explorer, which was our chief. He acted out what it would be like being an officer, and just he encountered different things throughout the play.
And at the end, the talent that actually sealed the deal was Isaac Rivera with this is a water trick. You have to show you guys one day, but he pretty much drunk the water in less than a second, and it disappeared, and that sold the judges. So that was the end of the skit. So pretty much that was and pretty much they made it competition on it. So that was part of it together. They just pretty much enjoyed it. You know, they practiced a couple days before they actually performed it, but it turned out well, and they didn't expect to actually face it. Just something put together.
So not only do they have skills, they have talent as well. So that's great. And then there's some individual awards. You know, I would imagine that with 22 teams, that would be over 200 competitors that were out there individually competing against our explorers as well. And we had some good showings there too. Explorer Nicole Pontrelli, step up just for a second. She actually placed 2nd place among all females in the physical agility obstacle course. Way to go. And then we have Explorer Elise Menendez, who finished 3rd place amongst all females in the bicycle course. Congratulations. That's an awfully big trophy, too, for 3rd place. That's great. Congratulations. And that just shows you that you put hard work into something, you put a lot of time and effort into it, and you will be successful. And that is just a testament to what you've done so far. We have one more acknowledgement, and that was Explorer Chris Rodriguez, who also finished 3rd place among all males in the bicycle course.
I must say about Chris Rodriguez, this is his first year. He competed at the Academy last year. And when we told him about the bike course, he didn't know what he was going into. So he sat there and he watched everybody, whatever. He was kind of nervous, but he didn't even know he was going to be able to pull it off. And the day that he had to compete, again, I think he had a stomach ache, but he was able to, pull it off.
And how far did they have to ride?
The bike ride?
Yeah.
So just an obstacle course that's actually within not even a half of a football field. Like, it's just in a secluded area. Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. They just put the cones and, they have it's a time, to it. But
no, I get it.
He didn't expect it, but he put it on.
Yeah, and it makes all of us proud. I don't know if I can speak for everybody, but I'm sure I do, that our explorers, went out and competed against 22 teams. They brought home 1st place in 3 categories. They brought home some great individual awards. And, without leadership like yourself, Officer Tate, Officer Wiggins, leadership like that is by example, and that's what these kids learn by, is with the example that you and the other officers, all the way from the chief, the colonel, the command staff, the example you guys set for not only the explorers, but the police officers that patrol our city. That's what it's all about. Leadership, kids following your leadership and striving and being successful in what they do every day. And for that, I applaud you. I appreciate you guys. Let's give them one big round of applause. Thank you all very much, and congratulations to each of you.
It's a funny thing because I was just looking at the explorers and thinking about Lieutenant Barker over there. How long have you been with the department? 18 years with Homestead Police Department. He was one of our explorers. And now he's a lieutenant over the detective division in the city of Homestead. So what they're doing here today is not being unnoticed because we've probably brought in, I would say maybe 20. In the 20 years I've been police chief, we probably brought in 20 explorers and given them jobs. So which one of y'all want mine? I'm pretty much done, Okay. All right, nobody? Okay. But anyway, maybe that's, it's chief? Okay. Chief. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I have a few. Can I say a few words?
Sure can.
Thank you, sir. I've been part of the Police Explorer for 4 years. I'm sorry.
It's already 15 minutes.
I've been part of the Police Explorers for 4 years, and I've gone to competition for about 3. And every single year, City of Miami North and City of Miami South always took the gold. And as soon as Oswald stepped in, I remember last year her words were, "You see that table? Our table is going to look exactly like that next year." And then when we started training, we started practicing, and I never felt a connection with the team like this. Like I've been in competition for 3 years, and our teamwork, our communication skills, I went in there knowing that they had my back. And it felt amazing. And with the guidance of Officer Watley, Officer Swaga, Officer Tate, even Alicia, playing in as a crazy woman in some scenarios. It's amazing. I've got to say, like, we grew together as a family, and teamwork really does make the dream work, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Anyway, no, good job. Listen, I remember when Officer Wiley came to me, and when she came, how long you been here now? Almost 12 years. Whew. She came from the state prison out there. She was on the SWAT team. When I found that out, I went like, got a female on the SWAT team? Come on down. So anyway, I gave her a job, and I think in the last maybe 3 years before that, she was always asking me that she wanted to work with the kids. And, we made it happen. And I'm glad I put her there. And she hadn't let me down one bit. Her, Robbie, Tate, Alicia, no one has let this department down. Done a tremendous job. And a lot of times, and I apologize for it, we forget about her because we're so busy. But she don't forget about us because she make us look good. Trust me when I tell you all that. Thanks so much. We have, I'm working in Councilman Ronson with his names. I'm not good at pronouncing the names, but I'll let you pronounce the names for me, and I give them out. You probably do it better than me. And I have something else for you all.
Explorer Ayers Bonilla. Come forward. Explorer Sharif Ali. Congratulations. Explorer Christopher Rodriguez. Congratulations. Explorer Isaac Rivera. Congratulations. Explorer Angie Sanchez. Congratulations. Explorer Sergeant Diego Alves. Congratulations. Explorer Sergeant Elise Menendez. Congratulations. Explorer Deputy Chief Nicole Pontarelli. Congratulations. Explorer Chief Chris Leon.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Colonel Kennedy. Want to come up for a minute? Colonel Kennedy. Chief, Officer Wiley. I'm going to let Colonel Kennedy give this to you all, read it and give it to you all.
Thank you, Chief. For outstanding performance in the 2018 Southeast Regional Police Explorer Competition, first place overall, first place in domestic violence, first place in the crime scene processing, first place crisis intervention, and fifth place in search and arrest. Individual awards, second place for females in the physical agility obstacle course, third place females in the bicycle course, and third place males in the bicycle course. Congratulations.
Good job.
I got the chief and the colonel.
He wants a before and after picture.
I would like to thank the chief, Captain Sermon, the command staff, colonel, city manager, everybody who make this possible every year for us to attend this event. Without them, this would not be possible. We need those signatures in order to make this trip happen. I also like to thank the advisors and the ones that took time out to come over to assist the explorers to make this happen, this overall. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. So I thank everybody who played a part in helping us out, and I have to thank the explorers for putting in the time, especially during spring break, because this happened during spring break. 4 days we was up there. So, and before that, a couple weeks, we just cramped time in, and trust me, that grade's all right. I make sure of that. So they spent a lot of time at night at home, at the sport building. Sometimes I have to kick them out, don't want to leave, but they want to put the practice in because they want to make this possible. And like I tell them, I said, trust the process. The whole time we was going through, it was a transition thing from Officer Tate leaving, and I'm taking over for the last couple of years. But like I told them, trust the process and don't never give up. Believe in yourself and going in as a team, and they can make it happen. And that's what they did. They put their heads together. I don't care if you're weak in this area or strong in this area. Put your heads together and work as a team. And that's what they did. So teamwork made the dream work. So thank you.
We photobombed that, by the way, back here. Congratulations, everyone. I mean, and Chief, the Explorer program, they help you on a day-to-day basis with festivals and programs. They basically operate as police officers for you out there, correct? So they're a force multiplier for you at the end of the day. So it's great to see them do so well in the competition, but it's really great to have them on a day-to-day basis. Amazing job. At this time, this is going to conclude the special presentation. We're going to adjourn, and we'll be back here at 6 o'clock for the council meeting. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 18, 2018 council meeting to order. It's approximately 6:01 p.m. This evening, we'll have the invocation by Reverend William Chambers III, pastor of the Church of Nazarene, followed by the Police Explorers and the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilwoman Bailey, could you please stand?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please join me, I invite you to join me in our invocation. Almighty God, Heavenly Father, thank you so much that our abilities are not all there is. It takes us a while in life usually to recognize our inabilities and how great the challenges are. And we confess our need for you and for your wisdom, even in this meeting. The challenges here are so great. We need indeed the wisdom of Solomon, really your wisdom, and ask for that upon each one of our council members, upon everyone that participates. We thank you for the city staff and all that they're doing. Especially, Lord, I want to take a moment to thank you for our police department, fire department, as they work to help our citizens and risk their own lives. What a wonderful thing that there are people, outstanding women and men, that will do this. And we ask that you will provide for them and for the needs of the city. And may this time together there be unity in all that we do. May there be a sense that we bring honor and glory to you. May this city move ahead to bring honor to you as we serve the people with our hearts that are diligently committed. And we pray this for your honor and glory alone. Amen.
Amen.
Face, present, arms.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For your arms. Left face. Forward march.
Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey,
Present.
Councilman Maldonado, Councilman Roth,
Here.
Councilwoman Fairclough, Councilman Burgess, Vice Mayor Shelley,
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Here. Any additions, deletions, deferrals? None. Tab 1 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public hearings? Mr. White?
Yes, please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, sir. Tabs 8, 9, 10, and 11, I've had contact with representatives from all of the parties that are here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Tab 14 only.
Mr. Roth, sorry.
Tab 14 as well.
Tab 14.
Being no further comments at this time, the clerk will swear in any person.
Mr. White, Mr. White.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Bailey on tab 14?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any quasi-judicial item this evening.
Please stand, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Tab 8 is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an amendment to the previously approved Crystal Lakes Plan Unit Development Master Development Plan to permit all retail commercial zoning district B1 permitted uses on an approximately 1.61 acre parcel located within the Crystal Lakes PUD at the southeast corner of Campbell Drive and southwest 147th Avenue as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
A report from staff, Mr. Cordino?
Yes, sir. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the request to amend the previously approved Crystal Lakes Plan Unit Development Master Plan. This is a master plan that we originally approved in 2004 and amended in 2015. The plan is very specific, and at the time, in its latest iteration, wasn't very detailed in what it had recommended. It only recommended the development of a retail commercial building. So what we do is when an applicant comes in and wants to do something more specific, they're required to amend the master plan to fit that in. What we have here is the applicant intends to develop the property with a 5,400 square foot, one-story convenience store with 8 ancillary self-service gas pumps and 16 fueling stations. This is a kind of a racetrack gas station. So we're amending the plan to fit that in and then accommodate all B1 uses so it's not complicated in the future.
Is the applicant here?
evening. My name is Tracy Slavens. My address is 701 Brickell Avenue, Suite 3300, and I'm here on behalf of the owners of the property and racetrack. As Mr. Corradino said, we are here to modify the PUD. It was originally approved in 2004, and Crystal Lakes the retail portion wasn't developed at that time. The recession hit. Time has passed, and now as the shopping center is being developed and the out parcels are also being developed, we need to modify the PUD to match the current market demands.
Any questions from council? You have a presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a brief presentation this evening on the modification of the PUD. We'll be back before you next month with the full site plan presentation, special exception, and certificate of use application. So I'll give you a brief summary now and then probably do a fuller presentation with more information next month. This aerial indicates the location of the parcel we're talking about. It's at the corner of 147th and Campbell Drive. This amendment will allow it to have B1 uses, but specifically Racetrack is processing a site plan for this property. The property had been approved originally for 14,411 square feet. Our proposed site plan will show 5,411 square feet, so it's a significant reduction from what was originally approved here. The retail uses that were shown here are being shifted to the parcel to the west of this. I did also bring you an elevation drawing so that you can see the outside aesthetic of the racetrack. This is a store that has an upgraded elevation model. It's got brick treatments around the entirety of the facade, awnings over the windows, glazing throughout the entire entrance, and then stone accents along the base of the building. There's an outdoor seating area, and there's extensive landscaping. The site plan contemplates that the entrance to the racetrack will not be directly from Campbell Drive. You'll turn into the shopping center and turn on either 147th or from the inside so that the Campbell Drive traffic flow can continue. This property, as you noticed from the aerial, is currently vacant, and we look forward to presenting the full site plan to you next month. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions.
Yes, quick question. Is this your first time before this body in Homestead?
It's not, but it's been a while. The last time I was here was for a Hilton Garden Inn.
Right. Yes. Did you know I represent this district where you're proposing this?
I'm sorry?
Did you know that I represent
Yes,
this
I
district?
did, yes.
Okay, in the future, I will respectfully request a courtesy of a meeting with you prior to bringing items before this council.
Understood, and I will.
Okay.
I'll call your office for an appointment.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments? I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Anyone would like to come speak, you're welcome to now from the public. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Vice Mayor?
Just a clarification question. You mentioned what they originally proposed on this particular site. Some of that had been shifted to the east of that site. So you're still intending the same potential quantity of retail available space, give or take, even though that you put less on this particular parcel?
It most likely will be slightly less. The parcel to the east is smaller, but the retail uses, we'll be back again next month with that parcel to modify the PUD. That parcel is slightly smaller, so it probably won't accommodate as much square footage. So I think overall it will end up being a reduction.
Okay. Yeah, and generally speaking, I don't know that I'm a big fan of the gas station use versus, say, the proposed retail uses that had originally been planned to go there. Looked like from the PUD and the future plan they had at that time, it was for hopefully higher end business retail establishments. However, I do know on the east side of town, we don't have a whole lot of gas station options, especially quality gas station options. So in this particular case, I think it does make sense to have this use on the east side of town, and my colleagues that live over there and represent over there can chime in if it's different. But so this case, I think it probably makes sense for it to go there, even though typically I'm not as big of a fan of that being the product that's taking up our retail. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth?
No.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Tab 9.
Yes, Mayor, tab 9 has corresponding tabs, tabs 14 and 15. They're legislative matters, but they deal with the creation or expansion of a CDD in a special taxing district for this 77 acres. So it probably would be best if we have a collective discussion on all of those items so that you can answer questions in the context of the application,
Certainly.
and then we can take a separate vote on each one of those.
Okay, you got it.
So tab 9 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting final plat approval of a 247-unit residential single-family subdivision for KINGMAN LENNAR, located on the southwest corner of Southwest 152nd Avenue and Southwest 320th Street, Maui Drive, is legally described in Exhibit A, consisting of approximately 770 acres and providing for an effective date. Tab 14 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, expressing support for the expansion of the East Homestead Community Development District, CDD, to incorporate an additional 77.3 acres, more or less, having external boundaries as depicted and legally described in Exhibit A, aggregately encompassing approximately 435.13 acres, having external boundaries as depicted and legally described in Exhibit B, providing for conflict, providing for severability, transmittal, and an effective date. In tab 15 is corresponding to resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving and authorizing Miami-Dade County to create and establish a multi-purpose maintenance and street lighting special taxing district for Kingman Commons, a residential single-family subdivision, aggregately encompassing approximately 77.30 acres, having external boundaries as depicted and legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Can you do me a favor? Can you move that to the other side? I can't see anything with the staff.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I liked it that way.
These guys aren't involved right now.
Got it. Yeah, we'll put it down for now. I'm sure I can bring it up if I got to make a point.
So you got them all, James?
Yes.
Okay. So on tab 9, Joe?
Yes, sir. On tab 9, we're recommending approval of the final plat. This is for what we approved in 2015. We called it Trio Kingman at the time. I believe it's changed hand. We approved it back then in 15. At that time, we approved in January 2015, we approved the site plan and the tentative plat by a resolution. So this is just completing it and approving the final plat. And if you want, I'll go through the other two. The tab 14 is the CDD. And what they're doing is adding this site into the CDD that exists out there already. The CDD is basically a mechanism by which the neighborhood will be able to pay for the infrastructure, like the roads and I believe the other infrastructure out there. So it's the expansion of an existing CDD, and that's the mechanism that they'll be used to pay for that infrastructure. Tab 15 is a special taxing district, which they're also going to add on to the neighborhood. And that will be, I guess, so to put it, kind of a fail-safe. It will cover the landscaping and lighting. The landscaping and lighting would be paid for through the homeowners association. And it will be dormant in case the HOA were to go away. The special taxing district would be there to pay for any landscaping and lighting that were needed. Again, we're recommending approval of all three of these items.
Georgia?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Hugo R's office is at 701 Brickell Avenue. I'm joined this evening by my colleague Amanda Naljeff, as well as representatives from LENNAR, Carolina Herrera and Zach Griffin. LENNAR, Kingman, specifically LENNAR Kingman LLC, purchased this property from Trio Kingman, which is the current approved plan I stood before you and some of you that were sitting up there, most of you, I guess, back in 2015, and we had this project, when this project was approved, for 247 single-family homes. If you take one further step back, at one point, this site had exactly twice as many. I remember from my presentation, 494 units approved on it. So when we came back in 2015, we were able to meet that vision that the city wanted, which was single-family homes on standard size 7,500 square foot or larger lots. And I'm pleased to tell you here today that the final plat that we are seeking approval for this evening matches to a T that site plan, and that Lennar has commenced the development work, the site development work, which I'm sure some of you have seen if you've driven by the site, has already started, has already sold approximately 20 of the units. They just went on sale a couple of months back. They obviously start to do the pre-sales to carry out that vision that this council was able to require and request back in 2015. And so today is hopefully just another step, but a critical one, to get our final plat approved. By doing so, we then get to go to the county, which ultimately has the final recordation responsibility, comply with their final plat punch list requirements. That takes a little bit of time, which is why we're doing this now. I mean, it's all said and done anyway. And then once that's recorded is when you can actually sell homes, or at least deed homes. Until you have a final plat, you would not be able to actually transfer ownership to your buyers. And so it's a critical step that we're taking this evening with the final plat. Tabs 14 and 15 refer to, as Mr. Corradino mentioned it, a couple of elements about the development work and costs involved with development. As you know, your city has a number of CDDs in the city. This property is adjacent to the East Homestead CDD.
You can put it up now.
I will respectfully kind of block for a couple of seconds here, but it's basically the current East Homestead CDD covers Oasis, I mean, what most of you would know or refer to as Oasis. Given the proximity, it made the most sense. And we have consent from the existing CDD. This is a CDD that exists, has been turned over, is controlled by the homeowners there. This is not a developer-controlled CDD or anything like that. However, they were and have consented to the expansion of its boundaries to include this property. And so tab 14 is a resolution from the council that would express support for such expansion. I remind you that the technical job of expanding, creating, expanding, or abolishing any CDDs is retained by the county. And so the request this evening from you is the resolution. Ultimately, the Board of County Commissioners has to weigh in on this and move it forward. Finally, the Special Taxing District, which is the last tab we're covering this evening, tab 15, as Mr. Corradino put it, is sort of the belt and suspenders, fail safe, everything goes wrong concept. It is a dormant special taxing district. It will not collect taxes. In fact, there will be no assessment roll done. There will be nothing with it unless and until there is a failure of the CDDA or the HOA. And they have to step in. In that case, they step in, can do an assessment, and then collect taxes in lieu of one of the other agencies collecting their fees, because those other two entities, I should say, not agencies, those entities have failed in some fashion in order to ensure that these improvements are maintained, that there's no void and such. The STD, the dormant special taxing district, is a requirement of final plat approval by Miami-Dade County. So in fact, the county requires it again. I think lessons learned. They want to make sure that if something happens down the road, there is a mechanism by which an entity can step in. That's already in place and has been agreed to and consented to, rather than at that point trying to convince homeowners in a catastrophe situation to do something or take a certain action. We do it up front. It's placed there, but it's dormant and does not collect taxes, hopefully ever, but it's there in case it's needed. I'm sure that there might be some questions. I know I've spoken to a couple of you. I'm happy to answer any other questions. I'm also joined by a CDD counsel here if there were any questions, and we just want to be certain that we can answer anything you have. But again, I know that Lennar is excited to continue in this community where they've been for many years with another beautiful project. This one's called Porta Vida. I always get the names wrong, but this one's called Porta Vida, and like I said, it's off to a great start with the sales, and we hope to take a positive step this evening and continue with the development. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Fairclough.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm a little confused here, Hugo.
Okay.
Okay. So according to what was mentioned earlier, you spoke to Mr. Burgess, right? Keysgate, Councilman Bailey, Southwest,
Right.
Councilman Roth, Villages of Homestead. Who else did you speak to?
I think that's it. I mean, I may have spoken to folks up here on the dais today and just asked them if they had any questions.
And then this is an Oasis, right?
Well, it's not
Well,
Oasis. I mean, it's a new
well-
community, but it's being expanded into Oasis.
Right.
Right.
And I represent Oasis.
Right.
And you know my policy on this. So I'm a little surprised that we haven't had conversations about this. Because I have a litany of questions that I would much rather not play out here.
Understood. Understood.
So I'm going to refrain from questions, and I'm not supporting this at this time.
Fair enough. My apologies, Councilwoman. I'm sure I'd be happy to answer your questions if you.
Mr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any estimates of what fee are going to be for the new residents out that way?
Sure. So the HOA estimate is $93 a month.
Okay.
And the CDD estimate is $1,800 a year.
$1,800 a year?
$1,800 a year, right.
And how does that rate with what the current residents are paying? You have any idea what Oasis residents?
The current Oasis, I was going to say, there are no current residents here. I don't have the answer as to what Oasis is.
Would you have? You do. Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. And so they'll be given one seat on the CDD, an elected seat, like the rest of?
We have, yeah, I don't, let me ask, like I said,
I know
asked
Waterstone does that. I'm not sure
Yeah,
exactly how
I'm gonna
Oasis
ask,
appoints.
Let me, for the presentation, let me please come forward.
Thank
Please
you.
come
Yeah, I was
forward.
gonna say, it might be a little, let me let Ginger Wald explain. She's CDD counsel and might be able to give you.
I haven't lived in one and read about it. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Fair enough.
Good evening. Ginger Wald, Billing Cochran, and we are the council, general counsel for the East Homestead Community Development District. And to answer your question in regards to seats, the seats are at large for everybody that's in the district.
So
And-
each district may not be represented. They may have 3 from one community, and so they have,
Correct.
what, 9 or 10, 11 people, whatever they have over there?
That is correct. They are elected seats, and it is at large. They're staggered, so you'll have 3 in the even and 28. I don't know which one is 2018. I shouldn't say that. There may be 2, there may be 3, and then 2020 would be the remainder of up for election. It's a general election placed on the ballot. Anyone can go ahead.
No, I see them on
and
there. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, you've probably seen them before.
Okay, I wasn't aware that they were at large. I thought each neighborhood would be represented, so, okay.
No.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
A question for staff. I mean, I see here it's a resolution supporting the creation of or expressing support for. So is this a legal requirement of us? Do we have to pass this type of resolution, or is this just something that we're doing to help out? But what's the basis of this?
So, Vice Mayor, the way that the process works is the creation and expansion of a CDD is set out pursuant to county code. The county has final jurisdiction with creating the CDD and expanding its boundaries, similar to the creation or expansion of a special taxing district. And one of the first requirements or steps that's required to proceed with the county process is that if the boundaries are within a host municipality, incorporated municipality, then there has to be recognition of an approval or sign off by the local government submitted to the county for the county's review and consideration. So if you were not to approve the special taxing district, the dormant special taxing district, or the CDD, then it's unlikely that you'll be able to complete your application at the county. I'm not sure how the county would view that, or if the county would continue or approve that application. Now, I will tell you that our subdivision regulations, and with respect to all the private subdivisions in the city, none are public roads, they're all private. Normally what we do is we will require that the applicant provide us some surety, either in the form of a letter of credit or a performance bond, similar to how the county does, so that there's assurances that the improvements within the neighborhood will be built and that we won't be left hanging with roads that haven't been completed or finalized. If that were the case, we can call upon that surety to make sure that that gets done. So that's something that a condition we'll be asking tonight to be added to the plat. But that all goes into the mix. If you're not going to, if you're hesitant on approving the CDD or the special taxing district, then how that plays out with respect to this single-family subdivision getting built or completed.
All right, and that was my next question. So let's say it doesn't get approved. We don't do that technical spot, to get it to the county, because ultimately it's the county's decision based on what the representative has said. If you don't approve it, then what happens? Is that the death knell for it, or is it unknown? The county could still approve the CDD. If the CDD is not approved, does that mean that the development can't be built? I mean, how does that all enter? And the only reason I ask these questions is just principally, I'm not a big fan of CDDs. I'm not a big fan of HOAs. I don't like them. It's good for government. I understand it helps, pay for these infrastructure, but not necessarily the best thing for the residents that are living in them. So it's a cost-benefit analysis. But I'm just asking the questions because principally I may want to vote one way, but I also want to understand what it affects, how it affects the actual process. Does it kill the development, which I think it is, a good development. So.
I mean, my understanding, I think that the county, based on my reading of the county code, is that, if the host or local government says no, I think it'd be very hard for the county to say yes to this. I don't think I'm aware of a situation that we've had before. And maybe Hugo can speak to that.
No, I would echo the same thing. I'm not aware of a situation in which a city has not provided the resolution of support, so I don't know how it's played out. I would draw a distinction between the two. Tabs 14 and 15, I don't think that tab 9 is much of a concern, generally speaking, because it's just the plat. But I would draw the distinction that I made, which is that tab 15 is a requirement for final plat approval. So if you approve tab 9 and somehow either deferred action or didn't approve the special taxing district, we would still not be complying with all the requirements in order to record the final plat. The CDD is a mechanism by which you finance improvements in infrastructure. So to answer your last question, you don't have to develop property with a CDD. It's not a requirement. However, it is the way that this particular property has been designed for development. We believe that there are obviously some good reasons for that, and I certainly understand the concerns that you may have fundamentally, or as you said, I think fundamentally or philosophically, I think you said, with CDD. That's more of a choice. But I would certainly, if there was a sentiment, try and distinguish between the two. Sure. Just because the other one also, again, to the point that your attorney made, your own code would require you to provide, would require the developer to have to provide some surety or bond or something else in case the HOA failed. This would take the place of that. So either way, you, the city, would be protected with tab 15. Tab 14, I'm willing to have a different kind of discussion because I think there are more policy reasons that we feel strongly about, but I think it's different, just to draw that distinction.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mayor. To piggyback on the Vice Mayor's question, if the CDD is not approved tonight, does the development continue on as scheduled?
I don't know. I mean, LENNAR representatives are here. I mean, Councilman Roth, I suppose, they'll have to go back to the drawing board and figure out whether they can, how they finance the development. I mean, I honestly, what I said before, I'm not aware of a CDD being turned down. Right. So we are perhaps in an uncharted territory, and I will probably tell you that I don't intend to be the lawyer that loses the first one. So, if we need to have a longer conversation about it, we'll have a longer conversation about it. Like I said,
well, it was interesting. You started off that they've sold properties in there already.
They've sold, units, right, homes. Mm-hmm.
So they've already sold some homes. They obviously haven't closed on them because
of course not.
They can't deliver, but they've taken deposits and started the process on that.
Right, which is normal development. As you know, Councilman, I know you're in the industry, which is normal in any new development. Obviously, you start the sales. You don't want to finish building and then start selling. You don't want to be stuck with inventory, so to speak.
No, I get that. And I just want to bring out a couple examples through the process of some due diligence I've done, just to bring it to the attention of others. In a CDD, they obviously pay more to live in their community based on the infrastructure that was placed or put in place at the beginning of the process of the building. So they went and borrowed money, put out bonds, and then the people who buy into those communities pay that over a period of 10, 15, or 30 years. In this case, it's 30 years. A couple examples that I was able to pull was in Keys Gate, North Gate, and in East Lake. Similar housing, similar houses, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 2,000 square feet, built in 2002, which is important, the year it was built. Their property taxes were $1,800. And this comparable house in Portofino Oaks, which has a CDD, basic same square footage, built in 2005, its property taxes are $2,200 higher than the one in Keys Gate. Their property taxes are $4,000. And when you compare it to an East Lake property, like properties, Mendocino Estate, East Lake was $3,300 a year. Mendocino Estates was over $6,000 a year. So there's a big difference in living in a community that's governed or has a CDD versus living in a community like Keys Gate, East Lake, the village is a homestead, the northwest section of Homestead, the southwest section that's not governed by a community development district. I have a problem with this as well. I was elected to protect people. Some people walk into these communities, fall in love with a house, and they find out that their taxes are twice as much as the house 100 feet away from them. Now, I get the fact that someone's got to pay the cost for infrastructure, whether it be the homeowner at the time they buy the house, or as a CDD is set up over 10, 15, or 30 years. Somebody's got to pay that. The developer doesn't want to pay it. Bottom line is it cuts into, their expenses. I just wanted to bring that out so that as we think about the future, and I'm sure there's some people in the audience that actually live in a CDD situation, and their taxes are more than what other people pay in the city of Homestead. And you don't really call it a tax, it's more of an assessment against the property for the development of the property when they built it. So I've had many conversations throughout this week and last week with people in the community, and I'm still torn as to, is it okay for a home buyer to agree to put a property with a 30-year assessment, live in it for 5 years, move out, and pass that assessment on to the next person? Because that assessment doesn't go away. And I'll reserve, because I just wanted to put that out there so that there was an understanding that that's how I felt about it. Knowing that people do, knowing that someone's got to pay the cost, whether it be the developer. I mean, at the bottom line, the homeowner's going to pay it no matter what. It's just the vehicle as to how they do it in the long run. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you mind if my client approaches to
Right,
talk?
she can come up, but let me get Mr. Maldonado real quick, okay?
Oh, of course. Yes, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I know.
Maldonado?
Thank you, Mayor. Kind of just want to share my perspective. I was the chair for my community development district in Estates of Mendocino and water and
That's where you got your start, right?
Yeah, basically that's how it started. I was the president of my HOA and then the chair of my community development district, and so I know very well how this works out. When I was maybe contrary to maybe some beliefs or positions that someone have, I was actually okay with moving into a community development district because it has an association, it has rules and regulations that you need to follow so that certain things are followed within the community. I kind of grew up in a part of Leisure City and Homestead where it's kind of like, you know, you can have a pink house and a purple house next to you, and you can have an 18-wheeler next to you, and then there was no way, because they were unincorporated Miami-Dade, or they weren't these just regular communities that were built back in the days. I did not want that when I moved into my community. So I kind of moved into a community knowing I moved into an association with a community development district. That's a vehicle that it was used. And that vehicle was put in place basically because the cities were not able to finance infrastructure. When before, the cities were the ones who were putting up a lot of the infrastructures before. And so again, yes, the city couldn't afford it, and development was hindered, and so they came up with this mechanism. I know that ours for Estates of Mendocino is $1,900 a year. Sonora is $1,850. Villas of Carmel $1,700, and so they're kind of averaging from what I heard around $1,800. That sounds about an average in our community. It's been a vehicle for our community to have what we have today, where we have a 24/7 roving police officer in our community, protecting our community. Our community is the safest one in Homestead. I'm proud to say that. We do have one way in, one way out, but that vehicle has been instrumental in our community. Our community is sold out. Everyone's, so I get the part where people are paying for that, but I think this is kind of the way it's been and throughout the state and throughout the nation, because I think that a private community is kind of the de facto, the standard today. Councilman Roth mentioned Waterstone and how theirs are very high, but there's a difference there where it started off low, but they went high because they added a lot more functionality to what they have existing. All that beautiful, landscape that they put in place and the upkeep of it adds a huge cost to it. But their board members or the community development district representatives are the ones that are approving that. Any improvements that they've done with the guardhouse, the security guards, all that is being paid by them, so it's been raised because of that. So I kind of see it as, in my opinion, I see it as a good position. I'm in favor of it, not because it has nothing to do with LENNAR or with whoever's building. It has to do with how I've seen it and it work in our community. Our community was never in the red when the crisis hit and the foreclosures hit. Because of those mechanisms that were in place, we're able to sustain a good community. And look, we have in our community, there's hardly any houses for sale, and if they are for sale, they're sold right away. So I think there's a great benefit for our community for those that do have CDDs. I'm actually concerned if they don't have it, what's to happen to them, because again, if you don't have anything that regulates what can be done there, like an association, my concern is for those that are going to be living in there, will then be looking to the city to provide that support with code enforcement and what have you. So that's just my position, my opinion on this matter, and I just wanted to kind of chime on that as well. I'll reserve the rest of my comments for later, if anything.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Fairclough.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm glad you've had a great experience, Councilman Maldonado, with CDDs, because across the street it's been the polar opposite. And the concerns that I had are in alignment with Councilman Roth as it relates to the CDD, up to 247 homes. How is that going to enhance the quality of life over there? How many homes are you selling per month? You may have some residents that may qualify for the homes based on the amount, but when you throw in the CDD fee, then they may no longer qualify it. I still have a lot of pending concerns with the developer in my district that has not been resolved that you all may not be aware of, and I'm not approving anything else until the long laundry list of issues in my district, until they're resolved. I'm not approving anything for LENNAR. I have a great relationship with LENNAR. I have a great relationship with you. No one has contacted me. So until such time, I'm not approving anything, because there are a lot of a laundry list of items that should be addressed before I approve anything with Lennar and as it relates to the CDD, because I've had a horrible experience.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, Mayor. Hugo, for somebody who, or your, anybody that represents the CDD or whatever, explain, because I've not been there. So when a client walks in to buy a home, what papers are they given and how is it explained to them? Go through that process quickly, because, you know, the numbers that Councilman Roth throws out there, you know, they are kind of staggering for somebody that comes down here.
Sure.
So for me, you know, I've talked to people that live over there. Some people happy, some people aren't happy, as we hear from both sides tonight. But just go through the process so that I'm clear on how you guys present this issue to a prospective client or to a client that comes in at that time.
I'll have Carolina Herrera mention it. I will say that the only comment, I mean, Councilwoman Fairclough's point of the price and being perhaps not being able to qualify for the home. I mean, the alternative, if you don't finance through a CDD, would be for the cost to be borne up front by the developer, who, as I think Councilman Roth acknowledged, likely means that the price of the home then goes up to cover those costs. You would end up, for someone that isn't going to qualify, you're going to end up at the same place. That's not necessarily, unfortunately, going to change. Just before I forget, I wrote a note. I don't know that we can change that, but to Councilman Burgess' point, I'll let Carolina Herrera.
And then one other question, if somebody can. So the cost that's given, the actual cost up front, they take the bonds on for that. What is the cost at the end of that day? So what, you know, the
How much have they paid?
Right, you know, at the end of the, no, so just using a number, if they use 20 million, what is it when this, at 30 years and this matures, how much has actually been paid out there, or what is proposed?
So I can answer that one. I'll let Carolina answer the other question. I had it tabbed over here because I had looked at it before. But in essence, it's, I'll
That
find the
just
exact
gives
number.
me
It's 40, here it is. The estimated total capital assessments, the bond costs, will be $44,400 over the life of the 30 years for the
Per home.
per unit,
Per
or
home
per
site.
home, right. So you could actually prepay $24,565 at closing. I mean, if you wish not to pay for the debt service for the CDD, you would still be responsible if a CDD was approved and there was a CDD, you would still be responsible for the operation
So
and
somebody
maintenance.
could save $20,000 paying up.
Right, you can save yourself $20,000 by prepaying, in essence, and not having that debt service payment. However, if you know you're going to be in your house for 15 or 20 or 30 years, that's a terrific deal. But if for some reason you move after 3, 4, 5 years, you've just basically given a gift to your buyer, because now your buyer is going to buy a house that doesn't have an assessment, and you paid for all of it, which is a strong part of the reason why we think that for the consumer in the long run, rather than having to fork over the cost up front, letting it, particularly with the way folks, and for the length of time that folks own homes these days, if we all could guarantee we're going to be in a home for 30 or 40 years, it's, you know, having to pay the interest on that may not make sense. But with the average home ownership being closer to, I think, 7 years is the last time I saw people moving, chances are if you were to pay for all of that up front, you're not going to recover your money, and you're simply going to have paid it for your subsequent buyer. And so the final point then also, just Councilman Maldonado's point, and I think Carolina's going to speak to that a little bit about during the downtimes and the downturns, some of the values. We have focused on the dollars, and I know Councilman Roth and I had a long conversation today. We have focused on the dollars. Yes, dollars are fungible, and you can compare them very easily. I pay this much here, and I pay this much here. But there's a choice to be made, and the folks that are paying for the CDD may be receiving, whether it's you know, enhanced landscaping, more secure. There's a lot of different things. I don't think you can always compare. Certainly, you can look at two similarly situated homes by square footage and say the one without the CDD pays less in taxes. The one with the CDD is receiving other benefits, and I think Councilman Maldonado spoke to those benefits far better than I would have been able to. But I know I want Carolina to be able to answer the disclosure questions and the like for Councilman Burgess.
Just give us your name and address, please, for the record.
Carolina Herrera, LENNAR Homes, 730 Northwest 107 Avenue, Suite 300. I am the Director of Land Operations for LENNAR Homes, and I've been doing the CDDs for 14 years that I've worked at LENNAR Homes. Miami-Dade County is one of the most strict counties as it relates to disclosure of CDDs. You are required to have a sign at the property, marketing sign saying that this property is subject to a community development district. You're also required to provide a disclosure to every single one of the buyers stating what the amount is, what is going to cover, providing the option for the payment at closing, and how much you're going to end up paying at the end once the debt is repaid. Every single person that goes through the community, a LENNAR community, comes in, sees the sign, is presented with information about the purchase price. It's also disclosed the existence of the CDD. When you're underwriting someone to get a loan, the CDD amount is taken into account because we know that they're going to have to be making that payment in addition to the potential property taxes and HOA dues. So when they're underwriting the loan, they're taking into account all of these different values in order to ensure that this person can get a loan. CDDs have been very beneficial to the city of Homestead. I can tell you that during the downturn, when all the HOAs did not have the ability to continue to collect from homeowners because they were not making payments on time, we shifted all the maintenance to the CDD so that we could keep the communities looking like Oasis, Vineyards, and all the other communities Councilman Maldonado has referenced. These CDDs typically start with a very specific O&M as it relates to landscaping, lake maintenance, and then as the homeowners take the seats on the board, which are elected, then they decide to add on. Why? Because the CDD has the ability to get better rates. It's a municipal entity. You don't have to pay sales taxes. So whenever they decide that they want to add benches to the community, they want to put up a fence, they want to do other improvements, they have a beneficial way of getting the funds. Not only do they have a tax benefit, but they also, when they issue bonds, they have very low interest rates compared to an HOA going out and getting a loan to improve a community. After the hurricane, again, the communities in Homestead that had the CDDs were greatly benefited because they were able to get people on site and they have access to FEMA and other discounts in order to repair the community. In any case, I know that there may be different feelings about a CDD. I can tell you that the ones that I've worked on have been very beneficial. We have disclosed them. Some homeowners, I guess, even though they were disclosed, they didn't really understand how the CDD worked, but it gets explained, they participate, they have open meetings, and it's been very beneficial.
One other, I'm sorry, because I pulled it up. There is bold-faced disclosure in the purchase and sale agreements that's required by state law and the county, and so it's part of the declaration and the petition to expand. It discloses, the dwelling unit you are purchasing is subject to a community development district and a related declaration of restrictive covenants, which require certain notices be given. And I won't read all of it, but it says, later on it says, please note that the district plans to issue or has issued bonds that will have principal and interest payments applicable to this dwelling unit over a period of 30 years to fund construction of infrastructure serving the property in the aggregate amount of $44,400 for a single-family unit. The unit shall be assessed an estimated capital assessment of $24,560 for a single family if paid in full, or an estimated annual capital assessment of $1,480 if you don't pay it all in full. It also allows for rescinding for up to 30 days after the purchase and sale agreement. So if you somehow purchase, sign it, don't see all of this, don't see the signs that Catalina referred to, and want to get out, very few instances does the law provide for you to get out of a legally binding contract. This is one of the very few ones, and it's a big time period. It's 30 days. It's not, I've seen a lot of 3-day rescission periods, but this is a full month where if you've got any concerns. So certainly from a disclosure and consumer protection standpoint, Councilman Burgess, I mean, as Catalina mentioned, and as the law requires, ample notice is given to prospective buyers so that they make an informed decision.
Right, and the 20 sales that we've already obtained have been sales where we've already disclosed that we're undergoing the process of getting a CDD approved because it hasn't been approved yet. So that's, we've already disclosed that. So all of these buyers already know that this is going to be the cost of them living in this community.
Thanks.
Anything else, Mr. Burgess?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Fairclough?
Yes, to me this is less, Carolina, come back for a second. I'm happy to see you here tonight and speaking very passionate about this, because with all due respect, you really haven't been active in my communities, and you keep referencing Councilman Maldonado, but Councilman Maldonado doesn't live in the communities that you're referencing, the Vineyards and Oasis, and you're saying the CDD has been beneficial in the Vineyards. I seriously beg to differ. For crying out loud, I just got my road striped, and I've been living there for 8 years. There are still pending items that need to be addressed. So don't come in here talk about it
From
has
the
been
CDD?
overall, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so it has not been beneficial.
Right.
So it's a slap in the face to me for you to continue to say the CDD has been beneficial, and it has not. So I respectfully request that my colleagues table this until we have a conversation about this, and then we can bring this topic back up at another time and have a conversation. But with all due respect, I ask that this item is deferred, please.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tabled.
Mr. Mayor, there are 3 items.
All of them, all of them.
All of them.
All of them?
All of them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next tab is tab 10. I'm going to have to recuse myself, Vice Mayor.
All right, thank you. Tab 10. James. Oh.
Yes, tab 10. Tab 10 and tab 11 are 2 separate variance requests, but they're for the same property, which is the Hyundai dealership. We can take each one separately. I mean, but you can have a conversation about both and then vote on each one separately if you want.
So you introduce them both, though, and then,
I'll introduce them both. You can vote on each
is that
separately.
okay with council? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, tab 10 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, considering a variance request from Section 2388 flag display standards of the City Code of Ordinances to permit a flagpole with a maximum height of 60 feet in conjunction with the operation of a car dealership on property located at 111 South Homestead Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. And tab 11 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a variance request from Section 23-87 freestanding and monument signs of the City Code of Ordinances to permit a freestanding monument sign with a maximum overall sign area of approximately 320 square feet to 160 square feet per sign face, with a maximum height of 21 feet, in conjunction with the operation of a car dealership for property located at 111 South Homestead Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Staff report?
Yes, sir. Staff recommends. Got it. Thank you. Staff recommends the mayor and council deny the variance request to permit the flagpole. The code through section 23-88A2 limits flagpoles in non-residential districts to a height of 35 feet. This variance asks for a flagpole of 60 feet, about 71% more than the code allows. In March, the applicant amended the application of the flag to have a flag of 15 by 25, where the previous flag was 12 by 18. We are recommending denial of that. We're also recommending denial of the variance for the sign to exceed the maximum permitted overall area. The sign that's being asked for is about 320 square feet, 160 square feet per sign face, with a height of 21 feet. The city code provides that the maximum area of an overall sign, monument sign, be 40 square feet and be 8 feet tall. So we're again recommending denial.
Any questions from council? Councilman Burgess.
Mr. Cordino, can you tell me what the Chevrolet dealership has up there for their signage? We gave them a variance.
We gave them a variance about 7 years ago. I think it's similar to the request from this dealership.
And do you remember if we deny, or was the city's position to deny that also that night?
The staff position was denial.
Okay. I mean, to me, they've got to be able to advertise. And as you ride down that road, if we were to limit them to a 40 square foot sign with the trees and stuff that are built around for landscaping and all, I don't see how you would ever see anything over, to let them know that the business is there on the highway. So I don't know, and if we've approved it for one car dealership, I feel like perhaps it's, you know, I don't know how you go for one. I mean, not you did your part as staff, but as a council, some of us that sat up here okayed and approved what was given at the Chevrolet dealership once we came to terms with them as to what they were going to put up, and we okayed it. So you know, as you ride down there, I looked and I rode up and down the road today, and if we were to give them a small sign like we're proposing as code does, I don't see how anybody would be able to recognize that they're there if you're coming down the highway at 45 miles an hour. So that's my view. I'll hold the rest until I hear from others. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bridges.
Vice Mayor.
Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Similar question. Are there other signs in the city that would be similar to this size and shape? I was kind of hoping they brought the actual sign in here so I could see what 16 by 10 would be. That's a pretty big sign. So, and another question would be: is it digital? Is it lit? Is it lighted? Or is it just a sign?
I'll let the applicant explain the sign, but no, we have not recommended approval of a variance for a monument sign of this nature since this administration has been here. So there may be other signs that exist. They may have been granted by variance. I don't recall them except for the car dealership we did way back in 2011, I believe.
I appreciate that. And I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I drive by that property all the time, and I miss it a lot of times because I'm doing the speed limit, which is 45 miles an hour in that area. But, you know, this is a new time and a new era in not only in our city, but for marketing purposes, a business has to be able to do things within reason, and a scale drawing of something that fits versus a code that says no, or we don't want it that big, I think is not really giving us an opportunity to make a real decision. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what the facade of it looks like. You know, does it represent what, you know, we as a city feel that it should look like versus just not having even an opportunity to, you know, say yes. So I'm going to wait to hear the rest, but I'm kind of wanting to see what the sign would look like, how it fits in the property and its aesthetics to the community in that area and there as well. I mean, let's face it, for a long time we had nothing sitting there, an eyesore. And now if you drive by it, it's a beautiful dealership. And I think that we have an opportunity to help him continue to run his business successfully with marketing and signage and stuff like that. So I think we need to look at that. Thank you all. I'll reserve.
The applicant want to come in and you answer some of your questions. You're asking to see the actual sign or see if you can do a presentation about what the sign's actually going to look like.
If they have that, yeah, the actual, you know.
So if the applicant would like to come forward and answer some of Councilman Roth's questions at this time, please state your name and address for the record.
For the record, my name is Michael J. Marcus. I'm an attorney with law offices at 200 Northeast 2nd Drive on behalf of the applicant. Mr. Vice Mayor and Councilman, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I'd like to ask if I can approach the dais. I have copies of all of the several of the surrounding dealerships signs in this area. If I'd like to do it without getting shot.
Yeah, provide it to the clerk, please.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, while Mr. Marcus is doing that, there is a copy of this, of what the sign looks like as well in the agenda packet too, that has the dimensions. That might be a little bit easier to read as well.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you. Go ahead, we all have it.
As you can see, Mr. Vice Mayor and Council, the presentation that I've handed out has Lorenzo Ford, Pearson Chevrolet, Esserman Honda, Tamiami Hyundai, Spitzer Dodge, Toyota of South Dade, and Hyundai of Palmetto Bay. All are somewhat comparable. They're larger, actually, than the sign that's being proposed that I believe is in your packet. I believe that our sign is only 21 feet. And you can see here, Lorenzo Ford's 32, Pearson Chevrolet 35. A number of them exceed what we're proposing, the applicant is proposing today. I also would like to direct your attention to the fact that this property number one, this property was a property purchased from the city of Homestead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Marcus, what I do is because we're trying to think questions for staff,
Sure,
and I think
certainly.
Councilman Roth had asked a specific question in this case about the signage. So do you have any additional questions, Councilman Roth, based on Mr. Marcus's presentation to you about the signs themselves?
No, so far, I mean, actually, if it's similar to the Tamiami Hyundai sign, which is, I think it says Naples, I guess, it's 15 foot tall, so this one's only 6 feet taller.
That's
right?
a similar sign. Correct.
According to this drawing here, it's 21 feet. Is that right? Yeah, it's 21.9 feet. 20,
And the,
21.
like I say, the Pearson and the Lorenzo are.
No, I get it,
all
No,
of them
and that's
substantially
actually,
higher.
to me, that's a classy looking sign, so.
Right.
Okay, I'm good, thank you, Vice Mayor.
Great. What I'm going to do is let Councilman Maldonado ask any questions he has, and then I'll bring you up for a full presentation of
Yes,
all
sir.
issues.
That-
So,
that's
Councilman
fine. I'll
Maldonado.
respond. Whatever you'd like.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I guess the staff, I know we mentioned the Chevrolet dealer was the last one that we had approved. Is this the one for Pearson Chevrolet, the one we're talking about? And was it more of a makeover, redo, kind of grandfathered in, or was this a whole new sign? Because the only sign that I'm recalling is from a Chevrolet dealer was that it was there already and it was grandfathered in, and we just wanted them to bring it up to date.
Yeah, my recollection of that was the sign was in need of repair.
Correct.
So they were going to remove it and replace it. And the rules said, well, if you're going to remove it and replace it, you need to replace it with the new sign code, which was the monument sign, which our sign code has the 8 foot tall sign code. And so they came in for a variance to effectively replace the sign as is, but the compromise we made that it was a solid base, like a monument sign would be, and that's how it got approved.
That's what we're looking here at the bottom with this picture that was provided. Okay, no, that was my question in regards to that. So I'm okay as well with the sign. It's funny because I just yesterday was telling the sign person a business with no sign is a sign of no business. It's a cheesy slogan, but I think it sticks in my head for many years. I think that, and again, I was a business owner within the downtown area, so I know that signage has always been a difficult issue for our residents here in the city of Homestead. We see a lot of A-frame signs throughout the city as well, just for that reason that the way our ordinances are, the way the buildings are set back and the trees that we have to have, we block off all the signage, and so it makes it very difficult for anyone trying to do business in Homestead. So I've always been in favor of helping the local business person. So I think that this sign is a compromise. Ours is right now, our ordinance says how much, or how tall is ours?
8 feet.
8 feet. Okay, and this one's 15. So, yeah, I'm okay with the 21 feet. I mean, if you guys wanted to bring it down a little, and be a compromise, I'd be okay with that. But that's it on my end. Other than that, I'm okay with it.
Question two as well. Do you have a response to Councilman Maldonado?
We already compromised it, anticipating that it come in as low as possible. But there are other hardships, and I'd like to speak to the hardships of this property that make it even more important. The signage has to be, is even more important because of the actual hardships, the location of this property and the way it's configured with regards to US 1, please.
Just one quick question. The Chevrolet dealership, I know we've talked about the prior sign that we approved as a special exception back then. They also are building a new project over near the BJ's. Is that sign been applied for yet, and what does it look like? Because again, I want to make sure that whatever we do is fair across the board so that we treat all equally situated persons.
Let me check. I don't recall it coming. Let me check with staff.
Okay, I mean, if it's not, I just wanted to see if we had the information, it would be good to know. So again, that we don't say, well, we want 1 foot here less or 1 foot here more, and then we come up and have the same issue in front of us a month from now, and we do something different, because I want to make sure that we're treating all applicants equal.
I believe it's been applied for, but it's been tabled by the applicant.
Thank you. Mr. Marcus, if you'd like to go ahead and do your presentation.
Very briefly, as possible, I mentioned hardship with regards to this property. The way this property is configured, as it is only one corner of this property that touches, it's like very short, maybe 50, 60 feet. It's on US 1. Actually, I was surprised. And I found a graphic. I believe in your package there may be a survey, a larger survey. But I'm going old school tonight, I told you that. And I've got copies of the part that actually shows that there's only one corner on US 1, a very small portion. I'd like to approach.
Yeah, you can approach the clerk.
And as you, okay, she's publishing it now. Thank you, Madam Clerk. As you'll note, this is a relatively unusual layout or configuration, being only one corner. Most dealerships, I'm a real property lawyer by profession, deal with a lot of configurations of properties and most dealerships, the first thing they're going to look for, as we all know, would be frontage. In this case, there ain't no frontage. It's very small. It's limited. There is visibility. That's why it's so much more important when in this particular configuration, because of the curve of the road. I didn't realize the curve of the road, and I've lived here my whole life. That appears, this really drew my attention to the fact that the curve of the road coming either northbound or southbound, so you're going to be on this before you even know it. And that's the concern, is that from a public safety standpoint, people going 45 miles an hour, and they hit the brakes when they finally see it, and they're going to have pileups there. And for a minimal request of changing, a variance, and obviously staff is doing their job. They're here to keep the code and maintain. If you're going to vary it, you have to prove that there's a hardship and that there's a reason for it. And that's what we're doing. There's a reason for it here because from a public safety standpoint, for a relatively nominal improvement or variance as it impacts the community, you can obviate, hopefully, or minimize the potential of a public safety problem. And I think it's important. That's why we're here. Is there any questions so far with regards to that? Okay. Vis-a-vis the flag issue, I didn't even know there was a flag code. Okay, there's a flag code that
Okay, Councilman Burgess would like to ask a question on the sign before you go into the flag. Go ahead, Councilman Burgess.
It's more of a point. As Mr. Marcus had stated earlier, they had come down in their original height request to where they are today. And I know that, and this is for Mr. Maldonado because he said he wanted to see it come down a little lower. I know they went out there and did put things up as a test as to where you could see visibly and where you couldn't see visibly as you went up and down the road. And that's how, with the trees and stuff that are there, with my discussions with the applicant and their people, that this is how they came up with the 21-foot height, that was an optimal height and gave them the exposure they felt would help them at that site versus where they had originally been, which I think was 30-some feet high. And, of course, staff told them no, and then through conversations, that's how they ended up. But they actually went out there with ladders and different things to try to find what would be a suitable height and not, too high or too low where people could get it and give them the exposure they needed. And I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you, Councilman.
That they have worked and come down. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Burgess. All right, go ahead. Continue, Mr. Marcus.
I didn't even know there was a flag code. There's a code that is published that for flags for the entire United States, for U.S. flags, if they're have a certain height, how tall the pole is, then it tells you how big the flag is supposed to be. And again, this code, I think somebody in the staff that gave this to us, they researched it and found it. But we are willing to comply, obviously want to comply with the code that's set out for our flag. It's 10 by 15 as set, that's the perfect size for this type of pole. And again, it's you know, we've said we wanted to comply with it, and we will. As far as we're available for any questions that you may have. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Yes, sir. Councilman Roth is first.
So a question for staff. I understand that we have a regulation of 35 feet. Is it possible that positioning the flag in a location other than where it's supposed to be positioned, I think it's towards the front, because I get what they're trying to do. It's about visibility. It's about seeing, you know, the dealership, and I understand that. And but I'm not sure again what a 150 square foot or 150 square inch flag looks like and how big it's going to be. Is it? If anybody can tell me, maybe Dennis from Park and Rec, how big is the flag that Hamker has out there? And that's a big flag. So the one they do usually at the Veterans Day Parade, that big flag that they fly over Chrome Avenue, that's by a crane. So I can't visualize how big it is. Listen, I got no problem with somebody, you know, putting up a flag. It's the presentation, I think, that the code is calling towards. It's how big the flag can be and how high the pole can go. So I mean, I'd be curious as to positioning, if it's a problem with that, if we can come to some kind of compromise so they can, and I'd like to see how big this flag is too as well, but.
There's a graphic in the package of a picture of the flag.
Yes, I see all that.
And there's a kind of a flagpole height ratio of it in there.
So that's where the positioning of it would be, and that's in front of this dealership, or is this somewhere else? It looks like a picture there, now open. So it's in that front corner that's off of US 1. So, I mean, it's actually a good spot for it, too. I'll reserve for now, Vice Mayor. Thank you.
All right, any additional questions for staff or for the applicant? If not, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. This is a public hearing. Anybody like to speak for or against either tab 10 or tab 11? Seeing none. Oh. Mr. Marcus, we have a person wishing to speak.
Please. Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. I oppose both of these applications. The sign is too big. Now maybe you'll work out something that would still allow them to be seen, but it's way too big. Take a look at the neighborhood. It's going to overpower the neighborhood. And as far as putting the flagpole up way above our standards, makes no sense to me. I know he'd like to advertise. He'd like to see somebody in a helicopter spot his sign from the air and be able to land and go buy a car. But to tell me he has a hardship, they bought the land the way it was. He went through all the hoops to get a car dealership there. And oh, by the way, the last print that I saw when he was asking to buy it, that the building was going to look like this model out of Georgia, it doesn't look like that. So keep that in mind and do the right thing.
Any additional public comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment. Any further questions from council? Councilwoman Faircloth.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. That was my question. You had referenced hardships. Can you talk a little bit more about hardships and what those hardships are?
Yes, Councilwoman Faircloth, yes, ma'am. Mr. Vice Mayor, the hardship, in order to have a variance, okay, your staff is required to make sure that we find that there's a hardship with this property. Now, this property is the property that was purchased from the city of Homestead. If the city of Homestead wanted to put the same size flag up, they could put whatever they wanted up, okay, in this same location. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the hardship for this particular type of property. It's something that's peculiar with the property itself. Is it the location? Is it the configuration? Is it how it, the neighboring properties? Something, it could be many things, but something that's unusual about that property that they wouldn't be treated, or a variance would be considered to give them an even playing field. Okay, these other developers, as I mentioned before, the first thing developers are looking, and I've represented some before in my experience, they're looking for frontage. And you know, Mr. Roth is a real estate person. He knows this too. They're looking for frontage. In this case, there's very little frontage. There's back off the road. You can see it, but that's the bottom line. It's visibility, and on both directions. In fact, as of today, I just drove over there. They have on the property to the south, on this particular property, which is another hardship I hadn't gotten to yet. But they're parking large vehicles, semi-tractor trailer trucks, motorhomes, big boat is out there now. And that is also restricting the visibility coming from the north, or coming from the north to the south, okay? There's a big monument sign on the property to the south of the subject property that is, when you're coming from the south, or from the south to the north, limits you until you see it. And we just don't want to take the chance of somebody, wait, no, where is it? Oh, it's right here. Slam the brakes on, and somebody comes in and rear ends them. That's what a hardship is. It's something peculiar to that property.
No, I know what a hardship is. I wanted you to define what were the specific hardships. So from what I gathered, you said little frontage and visibility. So those are your hardships.
Those are hardships. You got the hardship of the fact that it's only got one corner it's not normal a frontage as you would, where if you had a square piece of property and you had all frontage on US 1, you don't have that. You have only one corner. So what happens is it's even more so in this particular instance. If you don't have that, let's say you had a full frontage where the square was facing on US 1, a lot of distance. You could stop, or you could recognize that you have the ability to slow down reasonably and turn. In this case, you have a very limited area to turn. You can't, if you miss it, you're gonna miss it. And I mean, if you're not right on it. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go and take the peculiarities of this particular parcel and account for them and make it so that it doesn't cause a problem.
I have a question for Mr. Corradino. I always like to read the minutes from the P&Z meetings to try to get a sense of their perspective. And as it relates to the flagpoles, it failed by a 3-3 vote, but there's nothing really in here to indicate why. Is this all the conversation that was had at that meeting?
Yes, ma'am, pretty much why. What we do in the meetings is we'll go through our explanation of, there are several criteria that the city has. An applicant needs to prove each one, that they have a hardship by saying that they have met each of the criteria. And so we go through that, and we'll take, for instance, some of the responses from the applicant. So we'll say criteria 4, the hardship is not self-created by any person having any interest in the property as a result of mere disregard or ignorance of the provisions of the code. And the applicant's response was, the hardship is not self-created by any property, any person having interest in the property or the result of a mere disregard or ignorance of the provisions of the code of the city of Homestead. That doesn't tell us why that there's a hardship. So that very fact is they didn't meet that criteria, which means they didn't meet all the criteria, which means we can't grant a variance because they're is not a hardship. And so that type of response was repeated multiple times in the 7 criteria. I believe that when the board heard those types of responses, which don't prove a hardship, they decided there was no hardship.
Okay, so they didn't have like a lengthy conversation, you just paraphrased it here. They just looked at the fact that it wasn't really a hardship in their eyes, and they didn't vote to support it.
I believe that's true.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, Councilwoman?
No, that's all.
Councilwoman Bailey.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I agree that it doesn't sound like there's very much hardship, but I also wouldn't see how Lorenzo Ford or Pearson Chevrolet had any type of hardship either. So I think that, to be fair, if those were allowed, then why not something that's 10 feet shorter than that? That would be my comment.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I think we've all kind of expressed a consensus here. It looks like the sign is probably okay with us, and I also concur with that, thinking that, again, as a fairness aspect, we've made this exception before to put all equal parties and all business owners within the city on kind of equal footing. I think the variance, plus I do think our sign code doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, even when we occupied the space over at Portofino, and even there they had, in order to kind of somewhat subtrovert that sign code, they built a mound of dirt and then they put a sign on top of that as a way to try to get more visibility. So, I mean, I think we just need to address that at some point permanently going forward anyways. So I hear on the sign that there's some consensus there. I haven't heard a whole lot of debate on the flag itself, a little bit here or there. My position on the flag, since I have the floor, is I'm not in support of it. I don't like the idea of the flag. Again, the same thing is that once you allow it for one entity, and I get it, I understand the idea of trying to make it more visible. The car dealership wants to be visible, but once we allow that person to use that flag to be visible, thereafter, every other business owner is going to apply for the same exception, and we're going to have a whole laundry list of flags going up and down US 1 and Campbell if we're going to be fair to everybody. Otherwise, we have to figure out why one gets a flag and one doesn't. So for me, I'm not in support of the flag, but I am in support of the sign. Any additional discussion by council on the flag, since we haven't discussed that in depth? If not, then do I have a motion on tab 10, which is the flag? Oh, hold on, Councilman Maldonado's got it. Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you. Again, the size of the flag again, what was it? 150, okay, yeah, it's 60 feet. Okay, that's what it has here. The pole, okay. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to know the size.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Burgess, you made a motion on tab 10. Tab 10 is for the flag. Now, right now, it's recommended that staff deny, so I guess clearly make your motion so we know which way you're proposing.
I think here, make the motion with approval of the flag and let people vote from there.
Okay, so your motion is to approve the flag, the variance for the flag. Do I have a second on that motion? There's no second on that motion. The motion fails. Do I have a substitute motion? For or against to move it forward? We have to make some decision here, guys. Do we have a motion then to?
Can I revisit? I'll second John's motion.
Okay, so there's John. You would like to remake your motion to approve the flag? And Councilman Roth makes a second on that motion. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Faircloth?
No.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
No.
The motion fails.
So motion has failed. Do we have a motion on tab 11?
Move it.
Moved by Councilman Roth, second by Councilwoman Bailey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
What motion to approve by Councilman Roth, seconded by Councilwoman Bailey. Councilman Maldonado is asked to be recognized. Go ahead, Councilman Maldonado.
I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Tab 12. City Attorney, tab 12. Huh? No, we can keep going. Somebody let him know, though. Let him know where he's done. But we can keep moving. Go ahead, James.
Tab 12 is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018, by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $71,216, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date. This is first reading.
Staff report.
Good evening. The police department has requested the addition of 2 dispatchers for the reasons provided in the attached memorandum, resulting in an increase of total dispatchers from 12 to 14. The total annual impact of the general fund is estimated to be $142,432, while the impact of fiscal year 2018 for approximately 6 months is expected to be $71,216. The item is being brought to council for their approval because this request was not made as part of the fiscal year 2018 budget process. The attached ordinance is presented to the Mayor Council for their consideration to approve a budget amendment to the general fund as per the attached schedule.
Any questions from council? Councilman Burgess.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Councilman Burgess.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I had a conversation with Colonel Kennedy about this through the chief. And he was explaining to me that the reason that they'd like to add this, and perhaps he could, or the chief, just so the general public understands why we would like to add, or the police department would like to add these 2 people on, is that we don't give our dispatchers a break at this time, from what I understand. When they sit down for an 8-hour shift, they are there for an 8-hour shift, and unfortunately, they aren't allowed to get up. And with the amount of calls, as we keep adding people, the amount of their calls kept going up, and all of that. So this is a precautionary, or not a precautionary, but a step to help them be more effective with their job and to be more alert and aware as they move through their 8-hour process over there, instead of being bogged down in the seat, not even being allowed to eat. You know, they have to sit there and do their dispatching while they're eating and all of that with a partner. So there's 2 of them that are there. So if I'm wrong, correct me, but this is, to help those people become more effective and better dispatchers for the city, if I understand it correctly, and helps all of our citizens.
Thank you, Councilman Burgess. Captain Sherman is the captain over dispatches, and she can articulate this a lot better than I can because she was a dispatcher. She's been up for a lot of years, but I'm going to let her sit in my seat and just tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll come back and answer the questions you have. Okay.
Good evening, Council, Vice Mayor, City Manager. Basically, like you had mentioned, the city has grown by leaps and bounds. The calls for service have increased. Just to give you a little idea, in 2016, we handled 108,289 events. 2017, we handled 117,181 events. It's 10,000 more events than the year prior. As we continue to grow, the calls keep coming in. We have walk-ins at the station, not just the phones. We have the walk-ins at all hours, after hours. There's several different things that they're tasked with doing. We just want to ensure that because we're so short-handed in there, that we get those additional positions, not only to assist them in getting breaks. When we have critical incidents, we don't even have to where, like Miami-Dade County, big department, of course, they have relief dispatchers that go around, and after a critical incident, they get to debrief. We can't do that because we only have 2 most of the time. Very rare will we have 3 working. Days off, sick time, vacation, training, several different things. So we're asking for these 2 additional positions to beef up each shift, so that if I can get the 3 dispatchers per shift, then you have that extra person that is there for reliefs, that is there to step in to help. And like I said, the amount of calls that come in, that phone rings all day long. Several times, we have to go in there and help. So when I hear a priority, sometimes I'll run from my office and go help, because I know if there's only 2 in there working, The radio's not going to stop. Sometimes the county radio starts going where they're asking information from us. The dispatcher has to pay attention to the radio. The phone dispatcher has to pay attention to the phones. Seldom is the phone just ringing one line that she's on. While she's on that line, all the other lines are ringing. And we just need the additional personnel.
Does that answer your question or provide the update, Councilman Burgess?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anything further?
No.
Councilwoman Faircloth.
Yes, I have a quick question. How much are we accumulating in overtime?
I don't have those numbers with me. I'm sorry, I should have brought them. But we are paying overtime right now. And if we have a sick call out, we have to call because there's only 2. We have to run with 2 minimum. So if there's sick call, absolutely we have overtime. Pre-planned vacations, we have to pay overtime.
I'm just trying to determine if the amount we're spending in overtime is more than or less than the amount that we're requesting, to determine if it makes sense to just hire as opposed to continuously accumulating overtime. So it would have been helpful with that information.
I apologize.
Just read that and
I
discovered
can get that to you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from council? Seeing none, I'm going to open up the public hearing. This is a public hearing. Anybody that'd like to speak on this issue, please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record.
William Chambers III, 1221 Northwest 19th Street, Homestead, Florida. I also have the privilege of serving as chairman of the board of the hospital and have been a lifelong resident of the city, several generations. And I believe, you know, like yourselves, you're aware that maybe, I don't remember, 3 years ago or so, we sort of got our name there, being, I think, number 18 on the list of cities that in crime across the top 100 across the U.S. Just recently, I saw that at least we're moving in the right direction of, we're to 48, I believe, or 45. I don't know how valid those numbers are and how you measure it. I did try to dig into it, but it is important to me. And with over 100,000 patients coming to the emergency department at the hospital, we depend upon the city officers as they're able to back us up. And I would have to say in the last several years, we've had maybe a handful, 4, 5, 6 different cases when we've called, and the dispatchers have been there, and really sometimes it's very, very important. We don't know. I just recently before the board brought up the issue of perhaps a public shooter. What would we do? So we're concerned. The representatives on your board there at the hospital are very concerned about that. But we've been impressed with the job that the police department has done. We feel that anything we can do to support that and to encourage you to do so, we want to encourage that. And I would say, even in my own case, if I'm willing to seriously look at what no one really wants to look at an increase even in taxes if we have to. If we wait, I know this is only one part, and they're excellent questions. Are we getting more overtime or not? Very, very appropriate. And we do need to get those answers. Maybe it won't be decided tonight, I don't know. But I do think we don't want to wait until we get really behind the 8 ball and then try to play catch up. And even more severe than that, I believe, would be just the total number of officers that we need. We don't have anything on that tonight, but I've been very, very pleased. We at the hospital are very, very pleased. And in my own congregation, the people are very pleased with the responses that we've had. And I just want to commend the council for supporting the police department and for their excellent work. Thank you.
Thanks. Any additional public comment? You state your name and address for the record.
Kim Hill, Southwest Side. I want to thank Ms. Faircloth for asking a very relevant and pertinent question. How much overtime have we spent on this? And the answer to that was, I don't know. I don't know. Now, if you're coming up here begging to go and extend this budget for $71,000, that's a very relevant, that's a question that you should have been prepared for. But it seems as though I doubt the veracity behind that particular answer. Now, the thing is, we could play on the emotions of people all the time. We can always say the police needs this. The police needs this, and our safety is of great concern. But when we talk about the issue of body cameras and how much will it cost, no one does that. We're not willing to extend that time and that conversation. Now, let me just put this in practical terms for the public when you're talking about this budget. It all depends on what you depends on is important and where to spend it. Now, let's look around in this room right now and let's count the police officers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I might be a little bit off by 1 or 2 or whatever. But that tells you the great need and where the amount of money should be spent. Do you really think that we need to spend some money on dispatchers? Or how about, once again, let's reviewing the body camera policy? You don't like that. But I just proved the point. If you got all these officers sitting in here, and let's look at how many citizens are sitting in here and who's really in danger. Thank you very much.
Any additional public comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment. Any additional questions for council? Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As someone who spends a lot of time listening to the police radio and the operations, not that it's supplied by the police department, it's my own personal listening device, I often wonder how the dispatchers keep up with the calls. Because I'll hear a call go out, and then I'll hear another dispatcher calling the same call or asking for advice on that call or chatting with the officers on that call, and then somebody else will be there. And I'm like, I'm hearing the phones in the background ringing, and I'm thinking to myself, how many people are actually working there? I've never been there. I've never seen the dispatch room, so I don't know what the operations are. But I do know what I hear when I'm riding around in the streets. And for them to keep up with the activities that happen across the radio on a day-to-day basis, to me, is admirable. To find out that they don't get breaks during shifts, to find out that there may be fatigue setting in when there's officers that or dispatchers called in for overtime because someone's out sick or whatnot. That concerns me because they are the lifeline between the officer and public safety. They're the communications that if an officer gets in trouble, there's only one way to reach help, and that's through the dispatch office. And whether it's overtime that's being spent they can't be accountable for, we know that there is overtime being spent, which in my opinion is okay, but I think it'd be better if we hired a couple more folks to do the job that's needed to be done so that we are able to respond to the calls efficiently. It's amazing when I hear South come across the radio as well, you know, and the South is working in conjunction with Homestead, and then all of a sudden you got Florida City mixed in the mix, and, you know, how do you keep up with all that stuff? So they have my support on this to add additional dispatchers to our police department. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
No problem. Councilwoman Faircloth.
You want to respond to? Chief wanted to respond.
Oh, Chief, go ahead, Chief.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, my job as a police chief, when it comes down to the safety of this community, that's what I'm getting paid to do. I'm here every day. I've been here for almost 38 years. I know the concerns of this city. And if something goes on, emergency call go out in the city and dispatchers are so tired up where they can't get the proper call out to the police officers, that falls on me in the city of Homestead, nobody else. Our job is so important that we really pay attention to what need to be done in this community. You know, we don't sit back and guess and think what needs to be done. We're there every day to make sure that whatever we're saying is adequate. I went inside dispatch last Monday because it was dispatchers aware week with my staff to give them some certificates and give them some things for and showing their appreciation, you know, for doing a good job all year long. I was in there for 20 minutes. I had to walk out. They were so busy, I couldn't even give them the award that I came to give them. And I felt bad. I had to leave. And I looked at my command staff and I said, oh my God, you know, this is unbelievable. They were so busy, phones were ringing, they didn't even have time to even talk to me and receive the gift. And over the years, I watched dispatchers coming to the city of Homestead from other departments like Miami-Dade, which is probably 20 times our size. They come in, interview, get a job. One girl came in and sat for one day. We haven't seen her since. And I asked Captain Sherman, what happened? They say they can't do this. It's impossible. They don't do that anywhere else, the way Homestead does it. They have breaks. These girls have to go to the bathroom and take a radio with them. That's how busy it is. That's how short we are. We've been training the girls for the last 10 years because we can't keep anybody. It's unbelievable up there. And I wouldn't dare come here and ask the council, even this community, to even give us anything that we don't deserve. But I know the community believes in us. They need our support. We need their support. And we're going to be there for them. And the last thing we want to do as a city, as a police chief, is to fail our community. I've seen a lot of things over the years that I've been here, and a lot of things that we ask for. But when you're talking about public safety and dispatchers getting a call out to fire rescue and to our police officers, you can't play with that. That's value to our community, our kids, our elderly. We got to make sure that what we do is effective and is done in an efficient manner. That's what I'm all about as a police chief. We don't have time to play games and go tit for tat. We know what this city needs. I know what this city needs, and that's why I've been a police chief for 20 years now. I care about this community, been there all my life, and we're going to continue caring about the city as long as I'm here. So I just want to put that on the table because I speak from experience and from facts. I don't speak from across the street or out of the city of Homestead. So with that being said, you know, I wish y'all consider the dispatcher position because they are human too. We need to help those girls. It's not easy in there. Not one police officer in this department. I asked them the question yesterday. Do you want to be a dispatcher? Not one every police officer said, I don't want that job. You can pay me the money you're paying me, but I don't want to be a dispatcher. As a police chief, I can tell you I did it when I first came here years ago, along with Colonel Kennedy. You couldn't pay me to go in that room and dispatch. It is unbelievable, and it's one of the hardest jobs I think I've ever seen, to have those girls multitask like that, to make sure that our citizens in this community is safe. That's what we're all about. So thank you all. I really appreciate you all listening, but this is a safety necessity for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I have just a quick question. This is like a pressure cooker type of environment, and I visited once during Dispatcher Appreciation Week and got a small glimpse of their reality. But I didn't know that we have 2 dispatchers on shift at any given time. How long has that been?
Probably, I would say, because we can't keep anyone there.
I know it has been a revolving door.
We just had two walk away just recently. It's hard, but probably been, what, maybe 10 years or more?
I've been here 19 years, and the whole time I've been here, it's 2.
I don't see how you can function with two dispatchers. That's why I was interested in seeing how much money we're spending with overtime.
And I agree, you're absolutely correct. Not only just the overtime, and I appreciate that, but those girls are gonna get burned out from training people every day, every week for I thought it was 10 years, but it's not, it's longer than that. So you're right. You know, and the money that we're spending, burning the girls out, don't get me wrong, they like the overtime, but they're at the point now where they don't want the overtime anymore. They need a body. They want to be able to go take a break and have a soda, eat a sandwich, and go to the bathroom without ripping and running with the radio in their hand. It's unbelievable. And if you don't believe me, come over and see it for yourself. That's the way people understand things, you know, through experience. So we're welcome to anyone to come in and visit dispatch, and also, like I always say, you know, come in and ride on any given day or night and experience what these guys go through. It's not easy.
And I'm also concerned that they're not taking breaks. You have to be able to recharge and recalibrate after I'm sure some of the calls that they get, and to work 8 hours straight without a break, taking a radio to the restroom. It's a bit much.
That's why we at the point where we are today, because, you know, when Captain Sherman came to me and said, Chief, this is a safety issue for this city. You know, we're gonna self-destruct. And I know how everybody feel here in this community and this city, especially the staff and the mayor and council. You know, we don't like to fail, not our people. We care about our citizens, and they care about us. That's why they have done the things for this department, like building a new first police standalone police station. That's why they did that for us, because they know what we're all about, and we know what they're all about. And they've always been there for us because we've been there for them. So we don't want to fail our citizens. And we haven't asked for anything, and I thought it was 10 years, but Captain Sherman said she's been 19 years and it's been that way. I couldn't remember, but you're right. The overtime is unbelievable, but those girls, they need a break. It's just a matter of time before something happens seriously. And people are going to look at me and going to say, why? And I'm going to look and say, it's too late. We got to take care of this, keep this city rolling right now. You know, we're doing pretty good with what we have, and we're not complaining. But to have those girls to answer the phone every day with something negative, it's nothing good. Somebody's screaming at them about, you know, get me help, you know, they need some help in there. We just don't do Homestead. We monitor fire rescue, we monitor Miami-Dade. We get a lot of departments call us. We're busy.
Chief, let me ask you, can you get those can you work together to get the overtime numbers tomorrow?
Sure can.
You have the numbers, Carlos?
I don't have the numbers, but I was going to say is this has to come back to you for second reading anyway. So you'd have that information before this becomes final.
Any additional questions, Councilwoman?
No, that's all. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That was going to be my same question what Councilwoman Faircloth asked. When was the last time, or how long has this two-man team been going on? Was going to be my question. It's already been answered. Over 19 years estimated. I too have heard at one point or another through radios the amount of calls that come in, especially on the weekends. The weekdays, it's fine, but the weekends, it's like, what the heck is going on out there? I mean, I literally I saw officers and I was just like, thank you. I hear what's going on. When you hear the radio, when you hear the calls, and you hear what's going on, it's just constant, especially during the weekends. You said the amount of calls that are coming in was over 118,000. Yeah, so that's
2017.
You know, you want to break that down by month, by day. That is a high volume call. It's a high stressful environment. And for me, when I spoke with the colonel and staff, you know, the main concern is always boils down that we have a responsibility to the public in regards to that area. You know, that is critical. That is the first, that's the lifeline. And we've heard news stories and read and seen news stories about the critical role that these personnels go through, from helping someone not commit suicide, or helping someone as small as a young child make sure that their parents stay alive because of some training that they've done. So they have to be trained, certified, and on top of that, they still have to work. And so I mentioned to the Colonel I was in full support of this, because I think, I know that we've not had any additional staff put in there for quite some time. And so I was in full support of it. I still support it 110%. And so you have my full support, Chief and staff. And hopefully we'll get that same support across the board. Thank you.
No problem. I support it as well. I had a chance to speak with the Colonel today, and hearing the talks today as well, as far as the hardships that our current dispatchers are having and how this is a safety issue and something that's definitely critical to the operations of the police department. The only concern I'd like to express is that I'm not thrilled about the timing of it. I'm not thrilled about a budget amendment, not too long after we just passed a major budget. And so I have concerns about that, because ultimately what it does is, other departments are going to come forward potentially and say, well, we have a health and safety issue as well. Maybe it's the linemen, maybe it's solid waste, maybe it's Parks and Rec. And so it's going to put us in an awkward position up here of potentially having to make choices now between our departments, on safety issues. And there are likely lots of safety issues. And I'll let you respond, Chief. And I support it. I'm not supporting it. And I think that this is definitely needed. I think this is something, you guys have made the case very strong that this is something that we need to move forward with. But I just want to express my, kind of concern about that, and the fact that I'm not necessarily happy about having to have this budget amendment so soon after we passed a budget, and some of the concerns that I have. But go ahead, Chief.
No, I appreciate that, Vice Mayor, and I understand that. And we should have brought it in during the budget, but something happened just recently that made us really bring this forward to the city manager. But one thing, I got to say, and I'm not putting any other department down, but we don't shut down. We're 24/7 operation. We don't close down. My phone rang all night long, every night. I don't sleep. Because, we always got to know what's going on in this city. So other departments, may not understand, but they may do understand. But at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we don't go home. We're 24-hour operation. And when the people call us, we have to have people in place to make sure that we respond. So, people may have their concerns about it, but my job is being the public safety of this community. I have to bring these things forward, because at the end of the day, when something goes wrong, the first thing I'm going to hear is that you should have told me. So tonight, I'm telling the story. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm just saying I want to make sure I express it, because there is a chance that between now and the next budget, some other department comes forward, and so I just want to make sure that we've all considered that. So do I have a motion? Moved. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Maldonado. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 13.
At the January 17, 2018 council meeting, council approved CAR 2215, approving an agreement with the Homestead 50 Community Development District, providing for the implementation of approved interlocal agreement terms and conditions concerning Maury Drive improvements, and providing for reimbursement of proportionate fair share construction costs of Maury Drive improvements pursuant to city code. The purpose of the amendments is to recognize the funds as revenues rather than as deferred revenue, escrow. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve and amend the fiscal year 2018 budget for a $500,000 roadway improvement mitigation payment that was being held as deferred revenues in the general fund.
That was the staff report?
Yes.
Do you need to introduce it formally?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I jumped the gun. I apologize.
This is an ordinance for first reading. It's an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018 by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $500,000, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
We had the staff report. Any questions from council? Seeing none, I'll open. Oh, Councilman Roth. Your microphone was low, I couldn't see it. All right, Councilman Roth.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. There's that word again, CDD. There again. Does this mean we're getting a refund from the CDD? Does it mean we got to pay the CDD?
No, this money was received in 2014
Uh-huh.
as a mitigation payment, so the money's been available. It's just now being recognized as revenues so that it can be used for the project.
Okay. I don't understand still. We have this money in place,
Yes, we do.
and we have to do what with it?
This is basically recognizing it as a revenue and appropriating it for use.
Okay. I understand.
No, it's the system's going
So
crazy.
that the funds can be used for the roadway improvements on Maury Drive.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any
Vice Mayor.
additional questions, Councilman Roth?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Councilman Burgess.
No, this goes back, way back when Ventanas del Sol was first started. They had to contribute so much for the road, as did the other property owners over there, and this will finish out the Maury Road section from the school west, with the median being finished and the top coat being put on. So that's what it is, at no expense to the city.
Any additional questions from council? Seeing none, I'll now open the open it to the public hearing. This is a public hearing. Anybody want to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any additional comments from council? None. Do I have a motion? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Now we have done 14 and 15. Correct? Okay. All right, we'll now open it up to public comment. Public comment, I have comment cards here. First one is Kim Hill.
Kim Hill, City of Homestead, Southwest District. How you doing, Miss Bailey? Nice to see you today. All right, first of all, I love that little story, and I do mean it was a story that Mr. Rowe was telling you guys about this overtime and everything else or whatever. First of all, if all these things were that important, then it should have been brought up at the budget meeting. And if you had dispatchers not working, just dispatch, only 2 dispatchers during the beginning of the budget hearing. Responsible leadership should have been in there at that particular time. But I'm not gonna waste my time on this because the main issue he was talking about was safety. Right now, I'm still talking about safety. Safety of African Americans and Latino males that have been shot down, and the community still have questions. So I'm still here after 2 years talking about a body camera. Now, this is what old men have always told me. Only thing you have to do, if you see a person drinking from a dirty glass of water, set down a clean glass, and the intelligent person will reach for it. Well, we talked about the issue of safety. Let me go back to a situation. Let me talk to you, Ms. Fairclough. Let me talk to you, Ms. Bailey. What about the possibilities of a police officer pulling you over, asking you to see your bra, to be able to do all kind of sexually lewd kind of things to you and want to, make all these suggestions? How would you feel about that? You would feel extremely bad, right? Well, that happened in the city of Homestead. You know who I'm talking about, Mr. Rowe, right? You remember this officer that you all fired, Juan Cerebre, on allegations of this happening to a woman in the city of Homestead? But if we would have had, Mr. City Manager, those body cameras, we wouldn't have to, it wouldn't even be a question behind any of that. These were allegations. So if you don't believe me, Google it. Homestead police officer arrested. Homestead police officer arrested or some kind of complaint about this Homestead police officer. Am I correct, Mr. Rowe? You can rectify me now if I'm wrong. But what I'm still talking about, right now we have the technology to be able to eliminate that. Mr. City Manager, I'm quite sure probably lawsuits or something came behind that, or we lost money behind that. But I'm not, quote me, go in, just Google it up, Homestead police arrests. And there's a whole list of arrests that these body cameras would have brought clarity. Now, we can always talk about what we need, and we can play on the emotions of people. Oh, the police. Yes, we love the police, and we want them to be safe, but we want our community to be safe too. Hey, Mr. Raw, how you doing? You still parading around on Blakely Park, exploiting young African Americans?
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Sullivan? Good afternoon, sir.
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. I'm here, I'm going to talk about shocking figures I heard last month. Now, I have no knowledge if these are actual true figures, but it came up that the city has spent in excess of $150,000 on legal fees against Freedom of Information suits. Now, the person bringing the suit against the city is not even a lawyer. We get advice from our city attorneys, and the advice turns out not to be good, so we end up in court, and they bill us to the tune, and it's probably in excess of $150,000, but what the hell is going on? If that was my attorney, and he was that bad with the advice, I'd fire him. So it's back to the question I brought up many years ago, and I repeat it about every 2 years because the council changes. Let's get our own in-house attorneys and cut down on the expense. We don't like what the in-house attorney's doing, put him on notice. He doesn't need the job here anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I know there's some cards missing. I know, Mr. McDonough, you want to say something. So if you want to come forward, and whoever else filled out a card, I guess we've misplaced a couple. So.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Dr. James Eric McDonough. I live at 32320 Southwest 199th Avenue. First, I'd like to advise the council that your attorneys are not being honest with you. They've come to me 3 times now behind your back attempting settlement. Your attorneys are throwing the city under the bus to save their own hides, yet you should know Manager Gretzis has waived all the conflicts. A wise man once asked me, how do you eat an elephant? The answer was 1 bite at a time. And that's exactly what I intend to do here, hopefully starting with some depositions soon. Deceive yourselves not into thinking you have plausible deniability or that I was unprepared for the wickedness others would inflict upon me, my family, and others. Second, Mayor Porter, you have violated my rights. You have slandered me in these meetings, then you encourage your goons to commit violent felonies against me. Sir, for the record, Homestead has retaliated against me with 12 false criminal charges, 4 false stalking injunctions, and a few dozen First Amendment rights violations. All because I spoke out against abuse. This is all documented. Nobody can deny this has happened. Further, I repeatedly came in good faith seeking amicable resolution years before I filed a single suit or claim, only to be denied and further retaliated against. Sir, you stated on the record that I'm a bad guy, poisonous, horrible, a bad animal, and a bully who must be punched in the nose. Sir, is this a proper way for leaders to speak about citizens? Sir, do you even know what a bully is? Sir, you have exceeded your lawful authority retaliating against me, and you did it using tax dollars. You're supported by a criminal chief of police and goon squad who willingly does your bidding, and you have a law firm being paid millions annually to defend even the most egregious of abuses. Yet you can feel compelled to speak of physical violence towards me. Sir, what have I ever done to deserve such claims? What laws did I break? Whose ring did I not kiss? Sir, have I now become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Lastly, sir, I sincerely ask, though I know you generally lack courage to respond to me, if your comments pertaining to committing physical violence against me was only hyperbole, Will you be a man of character and allay my fears by openly stating that you wish no physical harm to me or my family? You're refusing to state that you don't want to hurt me? I mean, you said on the record that I need to be punched in the nose. Nothing you can say. I thought you were a coward. I knew it. Thank you. Have a good night.
It was your time. Thank you. Shia Noriega? None? Mr. Womble?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, citizens, fellow employees of City of Homestead. At some point, we have to understand that some things are going wrong in our city. At some point, we have to sit down and we have to start resolving problems that are existing in our city. It seems as though things just carry on for a long, extended period of time. And there's a great degree of frustration in our city because of the lack of services that are being provided on a timely basis, in my opinion, for those citizens. We've been waiting for quite some time for busy thoroughfares to be expanded, and we're getting those things. But we're at the point already to where the pot is boiling over. We have citizens driving unlike they've ever driven before in the city of Homestead recklessly. We have people turning from the straight line, they're turning in from the turning lane right in front of individuals because that line is so long, they just use the turn lane in order to get ahead of everybody else. That, in my opinion, has never happened before in Homestead before the past couple of years. So we need to look into those things and make sure that our traffic safety is first and foremost. It bothered me, Mr. Mayor, that we have city employees that are not taking breaks. Why is it that at this meeting, in which we're just about halfway through the fiscal year, that we're just bringing that up? That is something that I'm sure has been known for quite some time, and it should have been rectified. Being someone who stands up and looks and advocates for the well-being of the worker, I find that rather appalling that we're now just hearing about that. Someone should have been bringing that before you long time ago, and it should have been rectified long time ago. On the issue of body cameras, we've been talking about this issue for quite some time, and yet we still have resources being expended to defend officers. In some cases, officers have been fired. We shouldn't have to advocate for this. Every piece of equipment that is utilized or could be utilized for the defense of an officer, for the defense of the citizens of Homestead, should be utilized for that purpose. We're still asking for body cameras because we see that we are spending money to defend people who have violated the rights of citizens.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
I have no more cards. Close the public hearing, the public comments at this section. Moving on to business from the city manager. Mr. Manager, anything?
Mayor, I really don't want to get into the habit of just kind of every meeting responding to everything people say, because people come, they express their opinion, and that's fine. But there were a few things that were said that I think, out of fairness to our police officers, need to be responded to. First of all, it was the leadership of our police department that there was a reference to some police officer that had done some wrongdoing, and the reason we know that is because the police department investigated and fired the police officer, and then the case went to arbitration, and then the city defended it with our city attorneys and our city police department and HR department defended it in arbitration, and we won the arbitration. So that's what happened, and it's not, we didn't find out about it because we didn't have body cameras. Whether you should have body cameras or not is a separate issue to the issue with the police officer was something that the police chief recommended termination, and there was termination, and the police officer doesn't work here anymore. So that's that issue, which I thought we should correct the record on. The other piece is the whole question of why didn't we add dispatchers? Why don't we add more police officers? In fact, you have made reference tonight about every city department here is waiting in line for more staff. And so the reason why none of that has happened is because we haven't had a tax increase in a long, long time here because nobody wanted a tax increase. Nobody on any dais that I've sat on here, in another city, throughout all of South Florida, most elected bodies have not supported tax increases because the public hasn't wanted that. So if you don't increase your revenues, and in this city, we've gone from a population of 40,000 to over 70,000 in about 15 years. And if you don't have increases in revenues and you have demand for staff, well, then what you have to do is try to hold as best as you can. And so each and every department during the budget process has done everything they can to hold as best as they can. If there's an issue that is pressing, we've come to you, but for the most part, every budget cycle, we've done the best we can with limited resources. Would we like a lot more resources? Well, it's not us that like the resources. It's the fact that you go from 40,000 to 70,000. That's a lot more people that need service. So the idea of coming up here and condemning a police chief because he did the best he could to hold on, and then at some point he couldn't hold on anymore, and that's why we brought it here. The accusations from previous meetings were, why do you keep coming back with budget amendments? You're changing the budget all the time. Those were all carryovers, and they were accounting. There was no, let's add a whole lot more staff. And I'll tell you right now, it is not our intention to come back each meeting, and because the department has additional needs, we're going to go outside of the budget process. On the other hand, there are certain times where you have to say, we really can't wait any longer. And when people dial 911 for emergencies, we just can't hold on anymore. So we don't like to bring additional spending like this to you mid-year, but and it's not like nobody knew that there was an issue. There's an issue in every department, which is we have a lot more population and we don't have enough staff. And everybody knows this. And so this is not about some bumbling police department that doesn't know what's going on. That's the furthest thing from the truth. What is true is everybody, every department is working their tails off to try to provide the best service they can with limited resources because people haven't wanted a tax increase. Oh, and by the way, property values at the height of the market, if you add all of them up, added every single one up, you counted every property value, it was about $4 billion. And then the market crashed and it went down to $1.8 billion. So when that happens, revenues go down. And so I just want to make sure we put things into perspective because we had a little sliver of opinion, boiling points and terrible, horrible. None of that is true. You have dedicated employees that are trying their best to provide the best service they can. And as far as the city attorneys are concerned, when I just find it somewhat amusing that an individual who doesn't even live in the city comes here after having filed all kinds of lawsuits, which we, of course, have to defend. And then when the bill racks up, then the question is, why are you spending so much on lawyers? I just find that hilarious. And the best way to not rack up all those expenses, if this individual is so concerned about our legal bills, of course, he doesn't live in the city, doesn't pay property taxes here in Homestead, but he's so concerned about our legal bills. Well, one way to alleviate that concern is not to continue to sue the city, and not just this city. I don't know, I could pull out the list of how many police departments he's sued, the state attorney he's sued, how many individuals he's sued personally. I could go right down the list. And by the way, he comes here every month, and he doesn't even live in the city. And so this whole narrative about, oh, how terrible it is that we spend all this money on legal fees, well, when all of this is done and we count up all the victories, it's a shame that we have to defend all this stuff, but that's the system that we live in. And so I hate to do this because I know what's going to happen next is the little videos are going to get clipped up, you know, from this meeting, and we're going to get the blogs going again, and we're going to put the little captions there, and of course we'll sliver the personal attacks against council people and against staff and all the others that were smeared tonight. I would just say this to all of you who were wondering, like, geez, and I wondered, should I say something, should I not? I only said it only for you all who feel badly. And I just say this, don't feel badly. This is their First Amendment right. Even if they come up and they smear, they have their 3 minutes. So try to be as patient as you can. And I know some of you were the recipients of the smears tonight. And I know you're elected officials and you kind of figure, geez, do I say something? Do I not say something? I felt I at least should say something on behalf of everybody. And to the public, I just say, keep in context what you heard here, because police officers that were smeared tonight, because it wasn't just the one that was fired, it was basically the narrative that our police officers are so bad and so horrible and so terrible and so corrupt that, you know, we need to do something dramatic because the pot is boiling over. I would just say most people know that that's not true. And police officers just hang in there because they go out there and they do their job and they risk their lives. And no government is perfect, no police department is perfect, but everybody here does the best they can possibly do to provide services with limited resources. And like I said, I'm sorry I even had a comment, but I felt like I had because so many people this time had been smeared. I figured I should at least speak on behalf of everyone else, so this way the lightning will come to this rod instead of all you all, because just get ready for the blogs. They're coming next.
Well, thank you, Mr. Manager. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you for interjecting. Mr. Attorney, anything from the attorney? You sure?
I'd like to thank the manager, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Reports from the mayor and council. Ms. Bailey?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Nothing? Mr. Maldonado? Oh, he's gone. Mr. Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one announcement, a reminder that we will be holding our National Day of Prayer May 3rd right here at City Hall beginning at 7 p.m. Again, we're having our National Day of Prayer here at City Hall. It'll be on the west side of the building. May 3rd, 7 p.m., and everyone is invited. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burgess?
No business.
Ms. Fairclough?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to announce that on May 9th at 5:30 p.m., we will host our annual Champions for Education event where we recognize teachers, business leaders, faith-based organizations, nonprofits for all of their support as it relates to education. This will be held at the Seminole Theater on May 9th at 5:30 p.m. And then finally, I just want to mention something to my colleagues, for the public and any developer. When there's an agenda item that comes before this council and it is in my district, I would respectfully request that you ask them if they spoke to me. You can continue to meet with them, but ask them, have they spoken to me? Because if anybody comes to me for an item in your district, I will meet with them and I will ask them to reach out to you. It is disrespectful, and I don't want any developer to feel like they can parade in here, count votes, and figure as if their project will pass. Well, news alert, if you come here and have not met with me, I'm gonna send you back every time. And I will respect your professional courtesy with that, because no one is gonna come in here and disrespect me. We are elected citywide, but we also represent a specific district. So to meet with my colleagues who don't live in my district, and I have been elected to represent that district, and if I should say so myself, I work hard to do my best in my district. I am accessible to everyone who wants to meet with me, and to not even give me a phone call, I'm gonna send you back. So whoever's listening, just know that. Don't come in here and haven't met with me and put an item on this agenda. If you reach out to me and my schedule doesn't permit me to meet with you, that's one thing. But not even to call and text me, don't come here, please. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Vice Mayor?
Nothing tonight.
Wow. Hold on. Let me ask first. I do have an appointment to Tourism Advisory Committee. Mr. Peter Snebley, he is a non-resident. Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor? I also would like to ask, it's not on the agenda, we have two positions on the Planning and Zoning Board, Adelia Martinez and Adrian Lopez. They both have been serving, but their term has expired. I would like to ask them to be put back on. Ron Doris is the chairman, and he has submitted a letter of resignation, so we'll have one vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Board going forward. But I think we should probably, well, they're gonna stay on. If you'd rather me put it on the next agenda, but I need to put two people back on. Any opposition to, is there a motion to do Odelia and Adrian? Mr. Burgess? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. I want to say to the chief, none of your officers are goons. Nobody sent any goon squad out to do anything to anybody. And you know, we really appreciate, I really appreciate what you do as a force, and you know, your dedication to this community, you as a chief, and all of your officers. So like the manager says, it's tough to sit up here and get sniped at all the time, but that's part of the process. I wish it were different, and we could, you know, wish it was different. But do not let anyone leave this room thinking that you operate a goon squad. Do you want to say something, Chief? Hold on.
That's the difference.
I'm sorry?
I said, we're professionals, that's the difference.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that I don't recognize the goon squad, so.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I don't either.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here.